Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to the 5th episode of the PTA Podcast. Today we'll be going over patch 41 for Eternal Return Black Survival. It's been a while, but let's go ahead and reintroduce everyone for the podcast. So, my name is Brian, or Kiss My Waifu in VR and in-game.
And I am Iva Senpai. I'm a VTuber on Twitch. A lot of people just call me Iva. And my actual name is Jess, and you'll hear Brian and Haru call me Jess.
Hi, it's Haruichi here. Brian will call me Jake, which is my name, but I go by Haru, and Haruichi on Eternal Return.
All right, and it's been a while, guys. We took a break. There was I know you guys went on vacation. I didn't have anyone to fill in, so I didn't really feel like doing a solo podcast. But I know you guys went on vacation. Then you guys caught COVID, but you guys are all good now, right?
Yeah, we're back finally, so it's nice to be back. And the last podcast actually that we did was probably about a month ago, so it's actually kind of us catching up again too.
We made it through. We survived COVID, and we've come back stronger and better than ever.
Truly, according to our DAC.GGs, our MMR has been skyrocketing.
Hey, we don't need to look too deep into DAC.GGs out here, but yeah, we're better than ever.
The nice thing also is that we'll be putting out more content as well, and I know that Haru started his own official YouTube channel as well, so look forward to seeing more from him.
Oh yeah, I'll be sure. I haven't linked that to the YouTube channel yet, but I'll be sure to do that, to link it to that and then my stream as well, for that way people can find it easier.
Thanks for mentioning that. And we also have videos going up on the actual PTA official podcast channel, on YouTube.
Yeah, on our actually, it's not on the official channel. It's actually on our clips channel, which I'm guessing is actually going to get more views than the full podcast. I suspect people are less likely to watch a 3-hour video than they are to watch a 10-minute video on a specific topic. But I'll be sure to have everything interconnected, hopefully, so it's easier for people to find. But yeah, since we've been gone, I believe it's been almost 2 months now. We had a couple new characters come out. The ones is worth mentioning, the ones that stick out, I don't remember exactly who we missed, but Ava and Jan seem to be the strongest characters that we missed out on coming out. We'll start with Jan, the kickboxing character. I'll go ahead and start. When I saw his character release, the details before he was in game, I say this character looks awful. He's not gonna be able to do anything against ranged characters. His kit looks really bad. The only way he'll be able to do anything is if people stand and fight with him. My opinion is changed. He's actually really strong in close quarters. If he can't get onto a ranged character, though, he does struggle as in that situation. But his build is incredibly fast. It's incredibly strong. Does a ton of burst damage, and he pretty much can just kill anyone in hospital that isn't done with their build, because that's where his build gets or passed to, and he's usually done when the first night ticks over. So that character, in my opinion, is incredibly strong.
I agree. I highly agree as well. I feel like Jan is very strong as well. I feel like if you can run, I guess the only thing is if you can run away from him, he really doesn't have room to kill you. Or if you are able to, if he misses all his skills, then I guess only then really will you have pretty decent chances. But he can really burst down people really quickly, which is very surprising. I didn't think that he would have that much damage.
The addition of Jan to the game has kind of made Hospital kind of just a scary zone to be in, 3rd or 4th zone, as we've seen from our many games. Especially when we play with Christian and he's playing Rio and he's 4th zone Hospital, so a little bit scary to play against.
Yeah, scary because his build is so fast. I think other characters have picked up on it too. You see Nikki's running that build too. So when the characters path together and they meet up there, as night is ticking over, when you TP into the zone, because it creates a ping when you TP in, anyone on the Jan's team can just collapse on them and just utterly destroy them.
Let's say I've never had a problem finding iron ore in Cemetery before Jan, so I don't know.
Oh my god, don't remind me.
It's always gone.
There's 7 stacks of 3 iron ore in Cemetery, and I can't find any when I run through there.
Yeah.
Alright, and then Ava is the other big one, I would say.
She was super strong coming out, from what I understand. I missed her initial coming out, but I know that I got information from other players who played her when she first came out, and she was so strong they ended up giving her, like, they ended up toning her down, like, on release, and then again the next day, and she's kind of been getting toned down even more and more as we see.
Yeah, she's got like a really low cooldown on her Q. I feel like her biggest weakness is she doesn't have zone control. Like, her only CC is her W. You can't activate it early. It does knock up at the end of the duration, which is either like 2.5 or 3 seconds. But it's not reliable because you can easily just walk off of it. So her character is just damage. Like, that's all it is. It's just pure unadulterated damage. So like, she pokes with Q. Her ult has a 5-second cooldown, which is basically no cooldown. It's just completely based on like a separate energy bar. The biggest issue with that, well, we'll get to the biggest issue with that. But yeah, she just laser beams like Vel'Koz from League of Legends. It's just pure damage. She just has so much damage in her kit. But yeah, she doesn't have any CC, so the best way you deal with her is just get on top of her. Because she can't really ult you because her turn speed on the ult is relatively low. So if you can get behind her when she presses R, and then you're pretty much scot-free to just kill her. But her ult range is about 10 meters. It's approximately the same length you can throw a Luke Q. So if she can keep you at like arm's reach, she just does so much damage.
Yeah, she has a slow on her passive notes as well, right, with the telekinesis.
Yeah, but
it's very minor though.
Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't really say it's like. She doesn't really create space with the slow. It's kind of like
Right.
Like an example. I don't know if you know Rio's short bow W. She throws out like the 5 arrows. Like, that's a slow, but like whenever you ever hit by that and like, oh my god, I can't catch this Rio. You know what I mean? Like, the slow on Ava's passive exists, but it's not like it doesn't really create space kind of thing.
I feel like with Eva, like, she's very strong in squads if people can peel for her, and she can just basically be ignored and deal a bunch of damage. With Eva also, like, I noticed that in solos, the person who's playing her has to really really kite you. Like, they have to really know how to properly space against you in order to play her well. And I don't think I've seen a lot of her in solos because not a lot of people know that spacing.
Yeah, I don't imagine she's very good in solos. Yeah, without that peel that comes from like either duos or squads.
Right.
There's, I of course, I believe most of us have already reviewed the patch. There's a really nice nerf coming to her. She has an issue where her ult uptime is like really high. She seems to appear to never run out of her energy bar for using her ult. But they do address that in this patch, and I think that's one of her biggest problems in squads. Is it feels like her ult is just always up.
And I realized the character we finally forgot now. It's Daniel. Daniel literally just came out.
Alright, character is garbage. Moving on. He doesn't do any damage as a dagger character.
He needs a buff. Right now he's hurting.
Yeah, Daniel's issue is that his whole idea is his scissors empower his attack speed for 3 autos, and then he's basically supposed to just like wail on someone. You know Yone from League, right? You know he's got like his
right.
What's it called?
The knockup.
He's got something that I feel like enhances his damage. Maybe not. But anyways, it's like he marks someone and then... Oh, no, it's Zed. It's Zed, sorry. I don't know how I forget this. Zed'll, right? When you do like damage after you ult someone, and then it like explodes based on how much damage you've dealt to them in that time period. That's exactly how Daniel's W works. The issue is he just doesn't do damage. So that mark exploding just doesn't do anything. And his ult does damage based on missing health, which would be good, but he doesn't do enough damage to get people low in the first place. So, character is not good.
Not really. Yeah, he's not very good right now. I feel like I feel like Nimble Neuron is gonna look at the numbers eventually, because he was just released a while ago, and they're probably gonna go ahead and put him back into the system to quote unquote adjust.
Yep.
So I expect adjustments from him.
What do you think, Jake? Have you seen the Daniel wreak havoc in any of your games?
Yeah, Daniel.
Negative. I have not seen Daniel do very well in any of my games. Yeah, he just seems lackluster. I mean, there's not much to say about him.
Yeah, very obsolete. So, I feel like that. I think that's everyone up until now. So I think we can go ahead and move on to Jenny.
All right. Actually, a couple more things I do want to touch on that have been in the game because it's going to be relevant for this new character. They did add a new pistol. They reworked Devil's Marksman. Was there any other big changes? Crystal Tiara now builds into like a meteorite item. They've been adding like these different upgrades for items that if you have the item, you just get a meteorite and it makes a better version of it. I think Cabana was like the first example of this, where it was just commanders and it gets upgraded. They're really pushing meteorite to be a contestable objective, and because they spawn so many in the game, it's I really like the direction they're taking that. It does kind of feel like the first meteorite is RNG, whether you're looting a zone that it spawns in. I'm sure there's some characters that are routing specifically for it, but it doesn't seem like it's a consistent thing. Just kind of seems like it's if you're there, you take it kind of thing. But I do like the frequency of that meteorite spawn. I do like the amount of Tree of Lives that are in the game right now, and I do like the Alpha and Omega objectives. And then we can talk about Wiccaline a little bit later. Or no, maybe we can talk about it now. Let's talk about Wiccaline. So because they've added all these new objectives, Wiccaline now spawns half a day later into the game, but the zones still close at the same rate. I know we talked about this before after one of our games where we're trying to stall out Wick, but because Wick spawns later in the game and the buff lasts about like 5 minutes, most of the time it feels like you can't wait out the buff anymore before the zones close in too much.
Which I can see why they did that. Like, someone went through the trouble to go and compete for the objective, and they got the Wick buff, and they want to make sure that it's being utilized, like that's worth contesting for.
I'm gonna counterpoint that because it feels like some of the times where you're like, okay, it's time to go to Wick, and then you just run into another team. You guys fight it out, and let's say you win the fight. Well, there's probably another team that was taking Wick in the meantime because they didn't run into another team like
That's
you did.
true also.
That's when it feels bad. I feel like they need to slow down these zones closing a little bit more. I think they need to slow down those zones closing a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that's definitely probably the safer play. I feel like the addition of the new meteorites and trees, it just makes the game more dynamic. It's definitely it's forcing more fights in each game, which I love. You know, there's no like, oh, let's just rat all the way till Wickline spawns, and then we take the big one, right? There's more fights being forced, and it's just a more enjoyable game that way, I think.
All right, and then Stampede, Devil's Marksman, 2 new pistols. One reworked, one added to the game. Stampede is now I don't even know how you would describe it. It's a 2 ammo pistol. The second shot in the magazine deals extra damage based on your skill amp. So it's basically the new skill amp go-to pistol. Devil's Marksman has been reworked to be one of those meteorite upgrades. It's 2 pistols and an oil. You can one zone it from factory, and then you just need meteorite to finish it. It has a 7-round magazine, and the last round in the magazine deals even more damage than Stampede. And then it heals you for the damage dealt. However, my biggest issue with it is, as an amp character, you have no attack speed, so it takes forever to get to your 7th bullet. Despite how good the effect sounds, it's just having a 2-round magazine in a normal pistol versus a 7-round magazine, even though that last bullet does more, because you get that second bullet more frequently. Stampede is just a better Devil's Marksman and doesn't require meteorite at the moment, so definitely need to adjust that if you're going to have the meteorite pistol be like something that you want to get, because right now I'd rather use that first meteorite on Cabana and keep Stampede. Actually, I would never want Devil's Marksman right now. Like I would never want it.
Okay, so here's my opinion about Stampede and this situation with this last bullet stuff, right? If I'm playing a skill amp character, I have abilities. Those abilities do damage based on my skill amp. So why do I need a weapon that has the last shot as dealing skill amp? It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. I think that I just want just old Devil's Marksman. Bring it back. Like, I don't know. That's just my hot take.
Do you feel like Rozzie's hurting a little bit because of that? Or no, I'm sorry, Sylvia. Sorry.
Sylvia? I mean, Sylvia definitely feels not as strong without the extra skill damage Devil's Marksman, but it's just like I just the premise of having a bullet that deals damage based on my skill amp, it just feels like I just would rather have more skill amp on the pistol or more skill damage on the pistol, and then use my abilities to deal damage. That's the whole point of a skill damage character, right?
Yeah, and I think this is going to be relevant to the new character they're releasing, because let's go ahead and go over her kit. Quick view of some characters getting buffed and nerfed. Some pop-ups are Daniel, looks like they have lined up for buffs. Dylan, yes, Dylan is complete garbage right now. You can't play 80 Dylan at all right now. Like, it's not very good. Adela, don't think she needs buffs. 11, it depends on how they buff her. I think her crit builds are good. I think her tank builds it's more of an issue with items than her kit. Alex I miss just two-handed Alex. Yeah, that's all I'll say on that. Some nerfs. Mm-hmm. Bernice nerfs, I could agree with. Adriana nerfs, God bless. Shukai nerfs, I don't really care. I feel like we haven't had any issues with Shukais in our game. After the rework they gave him, I don't think Isol needs a nerf. I think he's pretty weak right now. Ava nerf for sure. Yuki nerf, don't agree with. Fiora nerf, also don't agree with.
See a couple CDR items, see a couple regen items in that.
I see that nerfs on Acne, and that's going to be interesting to see.
Oh, so they're nerfing Isol and Acne. Okay, well, that sucks. This is like my favorite AR character to play.
Unfortunate.
I just like Isol as an AR over Aya because the grenade to like just focus down one enemy.
Right.
Alright, Jenny, it's our new pistol character. We all saw the review video. I will say the abilities in the video don't look nearly as broken as the numbers show. So let's go over them. Basic attack grants Jenny 5 rehearsal and reduce the cooldown of Persona by 1 second. Persona is her dash, by the way, so every time she auto attacks, she takes 1 second off of her dash. Gains additional effects when she takes on a new role using her E. So a lot of this is going to be back and forth between her E. Her E is basically her bread and butter ability, despite the fact that I'm not sure if you're going to max it, but it's like the ability she's going to be playing around. So her red wine form increases her attack speed for 4 seconds. Her black tea form increases her move speed for 3 seconds. So here's the passive. This will be very controversial. It was not definitely like when they showed it in the teaser preview, she was healing her entire health bar. However, looking at the numbers, I don't know why they showed that in the video because that doesn't seem to be the case. So if Jenny has 50 or more rehearsal, which if you're just auto attacking, it takes 10 auto attacks to get fully stacked. There are more ways to get it, but yeah. So she has 50 or more rehearsal stacks when her HP hits 0. She feigns death, slowing her, but making her invisible, and untargetable. Jenny then ends her act healing for a flat 100 plus 10, 25, or 40% of her max HP. Based on rehearsal... No, wait, maybe this is why. Maybe I didn't read that. Anyways, so it heals some of her HP based on her rehearsal and deals 20, 50, 80, plus 4% of the enemy's missing HP as skill damage to enemies around her. She loses 7 rehearsal per second when out of combat. So the self-slow is 60%. The cooldown on this, so even if you got 50 stacks again right away, there is an internal cooldown on it. So it's 200 seconds, 180 seconds, which is 3 minutes, and then 160 seconds. The effect radius is 2.5 meters around her.
So,
yeah.
with Play Dead, you know, this ability reminds me of, it reminds me a little bit of LeBlanc's ability, like when she dies, like, remember how she, like, sometimes will spawn a clone at a certain percentage of health? Instead, Jenny herself will actually, like, do that and then die and then run away, but then have more health than before. So I don't know how that's gonna work, to be honest.
It feels like Tryndamere ult with invisibility.
Right, right.
Yeah, so I guess what it says based on rehearsal, I don't know if she can overheal the amount that's listed here, if this is the maximum amount she can heal. Because in the video, it was showing her healing her entire health bar. So I don't know if this means like 50 is the minimum required to heal this, whereas like 100 means she can get like all the way up to full health. We'll have to see. If she does in fact build skill damage, the damage dealt based on enemy missing health will of course be multiplied. A standard number for skill amp varies between 60% to 100% skill amp in a game. So even in the most ideal situation, this ability is doing double damage, let's say at level 9 when it's maxed out. Doing 160 damage plus 8% of the enemy's missing health. Not really too insane on damage. You're not going to like kill yourself in the enemy for this extra damage most of the time. I don't think it's going to get you a kill. I think the heal is going to be the more controversial part than the damage. But we'll have to see how this goes in game. A lot of this is going to be speculation. Kind of have to see how it goes in game. But my first thought, my gut reaction is the damage isn't crazy, but the heal could be clutch. Because it's kind of like... Because here's your best example in game. Remember when Kathy was super prevalent? When she would heal herself with her ult in a fight? Like, that was actually the most tilting shit ever. Was that... You know that you're trading evenly with a Kathy, but knowing she has her ult still, that'll just heal her enough to like win a fight. This is where this ability could be problematic.
We'll have to see how it plays out.
And it's a passive; it's not an ultimate, so that's like also another huge issue.
Right.
All right, Spotlight. So her Q. This is her second primary. This is her only other way to get rehearsal stacks. So it shines Spotlight in a circle area. It triggers 3 times, dealing a very small amount of damage, I will say. Hitting an enemy grants Jenny 10 rehearsal. Of course, this triggers 3 times. So if you hit all 3 procs, it should give you 30 rehearsal stacks. At which case, you only need to auto-attack 4 times to trigger your passive. Or at least get your passive up. So when Jenny has 50 or more rehearsal, she can now hit herself with the ability, which will give her different effects based on her stance. Hitting herself could give her attack speed, or it could give her move speed, max 3 stacks, because of course this can trigger three times. The attack speed is actually not negligible. If you max this ability first, you could give yourself up to 60% attack speed for 4 seconds. That is a cracked amount of attack speed for a pistol character. The only pistols I see this being really insane on, though, are either Electron Blaster or Elegance. Magnum Boa, I suppose, just because Magnum Bow's route is so good, but Magnum Boa could also be really cracked with a 60% attack speed steroid tacked on top of it. And this ability only has a 7-second cooldown at max rank with no cooldown reduction. So this ability has really high uptime.
Yeah, so this ability to me seems just like it's infinite value. You're queuing to hit the enemy. You can also walk in it while you're queuing the enemy. Infinite value.
I'm wondering as well is how often Jenny can get her passive up then, because like you know how sometimes in fights, you know, if you're chasing someone down, you know, she can auto you as she's running, put her Q on you as she's running, so she starts to get those stacks right, and she gets her passive off, and you, like as you're fighting her, like how often will that passive come up? You know what I mean?
The cooldown, it's right there.
It's about 3 minutes on average.
3 minutes, passive. Okay. So it's not so bad then.
And like I said, like the damage of this, so if she does end up, we'll kind of get further down. The damage on this ability is not insane. I guess it's more the uptime on a 7-second ability. But yeah, even if you hit all 3 procs, you're hitting for 180 damage with 60% of your attack power. That's not that insane. Like that really doesn't do that much damage, in my opinion. But we'll see. It could just be like a thing because it's a high uptime ability. If you hit 35% CDR, it should be about just under 5-second cooldown. So maybe just because it's so spammable, it becomes obnoxious. But I think the self-attack speed steroid is where it's really at. And then running away, if you put it like the direction you're running, you can get up to... Let's say you run through it. I don't know how fast you move, but even if you get yourself 2 procs, you get 12% attack move speed for 3 seconds. That could also be pretty insane. I think this ability is insane for the utility, but definitely not for the damage.
Do like running away, just saying.
Oh my god, yeah.
The ability is just 100% stonks, Ryan. It's just 100% stonks. So much value.
It does anything you want in whatever situation. Is that the idea?
Well, also, yeah, you queue. I'm just saying you could queue yourself and the enemy. Just so much value. If you're a TFT player out there, you should check out this ability.
You're playing this character in melee? Is that the plan?
I am 100% playing this character in melee.
All right, so we know what pistol you're not using. They're definitely not that attack range
Nope.
pistol.
Nope.
All right, her W. Now I will say from the video, this is the most jank looking ability, despite this
that's so
having the
weird.
highest damage numbers on it. But I will say the ability looks really janky to use. All right. Anyway, so she rolls out a red carpet in the direction, deals a decent amount of damage, and slowing enemies for 1 second. Reactivating it deals the same damage again to all enemies on the carpet. Has additional effects depending on her role. It'll either pull enemies standing on the carpet or it will push enemies standing on the carpet away.
Kind of like Lennox play, but not really reactivatable.
I kind of wish it functioned like the Flay, where the second reactivation you could either push enemies away or pull them in, instead of relying on the passive, or the what do you call it? Her form, basically, her persona form. So I don't know. I really enjoy the thresh mechanic of Flay, or the Lennox mechanic of the Flay. So
Are you ready? Hear me out. Here's why I don't think it's an issue on like where you don't feel stuck in one form or the other. Because now we get to her E. Passive is every fourth auto attack deals extra skill damage. It's like Luke W, but every 4 attacks instead of every attack. I know the damage numbers are exactly the same. It scales 10 to 50, and the multiplication with it is skill amp times 1.5 every 4 autos. Or if she activates her E, it'll apply on the next auto immediately. The scales strictly off of skill amp. There's no attack power scaling on it. It makes me think that they definitely want her using the... Oh shoot, what's that?
Range.
What's that new pistol they added? I'm blanking on the name. But anyways, the 2 magazine one.
yeah.
Seems like they want her to using this one.
Pull up.
So the active is she dashes in the target direction and then switches the role that she's in. Dash range is 2.6 meters. I will say Ava's dash range is 2.5 for reference. It's not a super long dash.
Are you talking about the Stampede, by the way?
Stampede, yes, sorry. That is
Yeah.
that is the name. Thank you. And then here's where it all kind of links together. So the cooldown is 18 seconds, then it scales down to 10 seconds. Let's say for argument's sake that this is an ant character and you're going to get roughly 35% CDR in a best case scenario. So you have a 6.5 second cooldown on E, just you E and it's 6.5 seconds. Don't forget that her built-in passive reduces the cooldown on her E by 1 second every time she auto attacks. So it's 6.5 seconds and then you auto, all of a sudden it's at 5.5, but it's ticking down immediately. This E actually has insane uptime. And then here's the last part. Her ult resets her E. Creates a stage around her, slowing enemies and resetting the cooldown of Persona.
Oh, nice.
This is why I don't think the carpet is going to be an issue on which carpet you want to use, as long as you're paying attention to what stance you're in. Because her E actually has insane uptime.
Yeah, so this, what this looks like? It looks like a resettable, well, at least the first part of it feels like a resettable Jin auto, four shot on Jin. You get 4 shots, you do the bonus damage, and then you can reset it, and then hit another bonus. And I'm guessing you'd want to reset it while you have the, that 4 shot active on the pistol as well.
Yeah,
the
pistol's going to be kind of weird, because even if you like second shot it and then E, like you still have to reload. The E doesn't reload your pistol like pistol skill does, kind of thing.
Right.
So you still kind of have to wait on reload. That's why it'll be interesting to see what pistol she uses, because it could be, unironically, it could be Elegance. Because I know there's some Elegance ant builds.
I mean, right now the pistols in the game: Devil's Marksman, Elegance, Electron Blaster, Magnum Boa, Glock 48, and Stampede, and of course the Kelty.
I can tell you what I'm not running.
Glock.
I'm definitely not running Glock. I'm definitely not running Elegance. I mean, I'm probably not running Elegance just because I think I'm gonna run her pretty close combat. I honestly, based on this, I feel like she will be because we've never seen a character. We've never seen a character that's been good, but not overpowered. I feel like we've never seen a character that's not been good and not overpowered or super underwhelming. Like it's either on the spectrum, and as soon as they come out, they need hot fixing. It feels like.
You're saying she's either gonna come out super OP or super underwhelming?
Yeah, she's either gonna be really, really strong or really, really underwhelming.
I can see people taking her black form early so that they can be quick in looting.
Yeah, she'll probably start E for just for purely dashing over walls for looting.
Oh yeah.
I think E for sure for dashing, and then of course taking on black form to be faster in looting as well.
I think it only lasts for, let's see, black T increases move speed for 3 seconds. Yeah, it doesn't last. It's not permanent.
Oh yeah, it's not permanent, but still, the 3 seconds kind of, in looting is.
Yeah, when you're walking from dock to frickin' the teleporter in factory or the teleport.
Got 3 seconds.
It's kind of nice, yeah.
All right, and then her ult. I was thinking that this is actually going to be a hard thing to hit. It does explode after 2 seconds, dealing damage and charming enemies. For reference, Ava's W, the little ground thing in the middle that like will knock up after it ends, that also expires after like 2 seconds and causes a knock up, but like you can almost never hit the knock up. The radius on this being 3.75 meters, I actually think this is going to be reliable almost reliable CC. Like, if you see her drop it, you have to run out of it immediately if you don't want to get charmed, which is possible. But depending on how the fight is going, if like she's getting super low and you're trying to kill her, I think this is actually a reliable way to CC someone. And it also doesn't help though that she drops ult. Let's say she's running away. She drops ult, she gets her E up again, so she can just dash away from whoever's chasing her.
Even more stonks with their Q on herself. I'm just saying, this is a melee pistol use.
Well, what I'm curious about her ulti is, if it's like if we're able to interrupt it, but like as she's about to cast it.
Oh, you mean like Hedginal?
Yeah,
like what's the cast time on it?
Like Hedginal. I'm wondering if we can if it's interruptible.
It's probably one of those things where if it happens, it's going to be random and not on purpose. Mm-hmm. All right, so yeah, this character again, it's one of those things where you have to see. Predictions are Jake thinks she's a melee pistol user and she's going to be insane. I think she's going to be really good. I think her best pistol will probably be Elegance, and then she'll probably switch into Devil's Marksman because we'll get to that. They do change Devil's Marksman. There are some pistol or Elegance amp builds, Jake, I know you're familiar with playing Sylvia, that you can still build amp even with the Elegance pistol. I think that the benefit to Elegance is the increased ammo capacity over Stampede. In order to... Yeah, because like even if Stampede does like a lot of damage, being able to auto attack and getting 1 second off of your dash every time you auto might have more value than the damage from 2 autos and then reloading. Like, I think it'll be a toss up. I think it'll depend on how you want to play. And then I predict her W is gonna be janky as hell to use. I think.
You could even go quiver. You could even go quiver and then you go amp items with quiver as your accessory, and just go hospital pond for the. For both rods.
Oh yeah, so Hospital Pond, you can finish Elegance, you can finish Crown, you can finish Sheath, and you can finish Quiver. Those are 4 full items that you can have from 2 zones, so there's a lot of value in that as well.
Yeah, and get away from all the Jans and go Hospital early, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. So I think she actually looks really fun. I think her W is going to be jank. Jake thinks she's going to be super OP. Probably, like, Jake, do you think she'll be OP because, like, with her numbers, you think they're actually really good at the moment?
I don't know. There's a lot to consider. Here. She seems like her kit's based around an amp kit, right? But she's also got this air of, attack speed is also something that you'll get stonks for. Like, there's just so much value in her kit. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but there's just so much value there. You can Q, and then you can gain, attack speed while also dealing amp damage to the enemy. It's like there's just so much stonks.
And then Jess, what do you think, Jess? Before we move on,
I think she's gonna be strong. I think she's gonna be strong coming out of the gate, and I think she's they're gonna probably have to nerf her or something.
Oh, also the radius on that ultimate, disgusing. But
yeah, it is.
All right, let's put a letter on it. I think she's gonna be top 8, like high A tier.
I think she's gonna be S tier or F tier. I'm telling you, she's gonna be S tier or F tier right now.
I think she's gonna be. I think she's gonna be. In squads, I think she's gonna be S tier. In solos, I think she's gonna be A tier.
Oh, so I haven't looked at the pistol changes yet, but as of right now, I'm calling Magnum Bow is probably going to be your best pistol, just because Magnum Bow is a thing.
Just because Magnum Bow route is so good, like,
and it exists in the game.
I think the I don't want to stay on her too long, but yeah, like healing percent max HP with the Magnum Bow route, you have a decent amount of HP in your build,
and you get lifesteal and more attack power.
Yeah.
All right. Quick look at the skins.
Wait, hold on, Alex looking fab.
Yeah. They changed it from the concept art. Like it looks kind of better. Like no cap, his sword and shuriken animations look really good. I was actually considering getting it because it feels like they've actually, if they got feedback, they listened to it because it looks better than when they initially teased it.
You know, honestly though, the only thing I really don't like is the color scheme is very similar to his current skin already.
Agreed.
I'm just not quite a fan of that. But other than that, though, I haven't quite seen the other stuff. I don't really play Alex very much either, but we'll have to see how it looks like then.
All right.
What do we got here? Oh my god.
She looks fabulous. Look
Yeah,
at her.
Too bad her character is dog shit.
Oh. Well, she do kind of look iced out here. I really like this look.
I agree. I think she looks really good. I just don't think I'll be getting it because of the balance state of her character.
You're crazy.
I wouldn't waste skin on a skin I wouldn't use unless it's Shoichi, because we all know how that went.
Anime girl with glasses, Brand? Come on.
Look
It's
at
a no-brainer.
Fiora emotes are so cute.
Actually, wait, they kind of are. I thought the Emma ones are the best ones they've released. I like this fourth Fiora skin, or Fiora emote.
The Yawn Fiora looks good too. Imagine you're like waiting to get into combat.
I like the Yawn one.
This is Fiora mains, by the way, after the patch, when we get to Fiora changes.
Yeah, that's a Fiora after being kited by a Rio.
Alright, voice chat's in the game. I'm ready for it.
Voice comms. Imagine playing with randos.
That's the only thing this affects, in my opinion, because everyone has Discord.
So this setting is instantly off in my set.
Yeah, the
in my
default
game.
settings are set to off.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to it. I just if we ever don't have a third, I kind of just want to play squads just to talk with random people, just to see what the community's like. The community's so nice. Like honestly, like there are some really rude in-game things to do, but everyone I've talked to, minus one person that I'm thinking of specifically that I won't name, are actually really nice people. They're super nice, and then there's like also like a lot of simps, but like being a simp doesn't make you toxic. You know what I mean? Like the community is really nice.
We call them shrimps here. We don't call them that.
Yeah, you can't say that.
Can't say that
you
word.
You can't say that on stream.
Oh, they're sims. All right, moving on.
Oh no.
Meta improvements. They say that they're changing the speed up boosts around the map in order to resolve people staying alive later than they should. So they're working on the late game, looking at some. I forgot where it's at. I've read over this. They're basically looking at XP later in the game for people who just farm wild monsters to not get so much experience from basically not interacting with other players is what they're looking at. But then for interacting with other players, they're also reducing the radius of which you could see pings on the minimap. Something I didn't even know until looking at the patch notes. So when you do combat, the pings show up 40 meters away normally. Now they're reducing it to 35. But there's a separate ping system in game for firearm type weapons. So I'm guessing, pistols, sniper rifles, and assault rifles. Apparently they make pings from a lot further away, which I didn't know that. But they're also reducing that. But still double the normal ping radius.
Well, I'm kind of glad too, though, that now we're gonna be able to fight more often, and we won't just be running away town.
Yeah,
and also, like, if you're fighting someone else, like, if someone's from far away in the area, at least they won't see you fighting someone else and try to just come third party and steal your kill that you've worked really hard for.
I will say, now that I know this exists, I don't like that guns make a louder ping than others. I wish it was consistent across the board, because it's something that, like, we've played this game for so long. Something like this, being in the game and not even knowing it, I feel like it should just be consistent. Like, why? Like, I'm assuming that pings for combat are the same across the board. Like, why is it different? Why is this something I need to know?
Guns would make louder noises.
I get it thematically. It's so dumb. Like, why is it not just consistent?
Make louder noises. Imagine a whip.
She makes a good point, Brian. I don't know what to tell you.
A gun makes loud noises.
Gun go bang.
Gun go bang bang.
Bang bang.
Bang bang.
All right, so now this hurts my soul. So the mastery you get from crafting, it used to, well, it still does, increases the effectiveness of the items you've made. So if you make a 100 HP item and you get like 10% extra crafting effectiveness from your mastery, you would get an extra 10 HP from the item, just from crafting a lot of items. They're basically reducing the bonus effects you get from crafting a lot of things.
Sounds like they're trying to get rid of the people who just AFK and like play PvE, you know, go farm around
I
the
think
map,
it's
cook, craft materials.
yeah. I think it's more so that a lot of people are crafting. There's a lot of meteorites in the game. There's a lot of trees now. A lot of people are crafting gold items like pretty early too. So I feel like maybe that's why, because you're crafting a lot more items because you have a lot more options in the game.
I agree. Yeah, there's a lot more crafting in the game, so they're trying to tone it back. Alright, and then defense mastery. I honestly don't care about defense mastery because it feels like it's irrelevant. Animal XP, we mentioned this before. They're reducing the amount of XP you get from farming animals later in the game, but they're also increasing a little bit of the amount of XP you get for killing Alpha and or Omega.
Oh, thank goodness.
Which I think is good, considering like if you're going for an objective, you should get more XP for killing these things than you should a dog. Like look at this. Omega gave you the same XP as a dog. Like it still almost does.
Just gonna kill 2 dogs.
Yeah, like it almost still gives the same XP as killing a dog. Like obviously the dogs are a lot lower level. Like you'll run into like a level 5 dog and it's like a level like 11 Omega or something. But yeah, I think this is ridiculous. But also you don't want to give it too much XP to where it snowballs out of control just because you hold an objective. Some LP changes. I honestly don't care. Basically, it punishes you less for going out at a lower place.
Wait, hold on, go back up because I do see they actually listed squads there though. So does that mean that we get squads, ranked squads?
Oh, I see. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, NA does not get ranked squads. Of course not. Are you kidding me?
Okay. Well, you know,
NA
I tried.
Squads is dead.
I tried. Nibble Neuron, please.
The hyperloop.
I understand, but
really
please.
Cool, by the way.
Yes. Yeah. So now you can tell. Now instead of throwing an ability at someone who TPs in front of you, not really, and it's an ally. Yeah, this should no longer happen because it's now a green circle when it's an ally, and it's a red when it's an enemy. The only yellow hyperloops you'll ever see are when neutral monsters are spawning, like Alpha and Omega, I believe.
Hold on, I have a problem with the graphic they decided to show. It looks like someone's teleporting right next to a wall next to a Hyunwoo.
And he's not wanting to slam.
And he's not wanting to slam him into the wall? Are you kidding me?
It's his teammate. It's his teammate.
No.
But he doesn't know
the
that
enemy one. The enemy one. I'm talking about the enemy one.
Oh,
right.
This one.
Yeah, the bottom one.
It's like, oh, it's red. It must be, time to run away. No.
Let me run away. No.
Oh, no.
That's not what you do.
You eat them into the wall, you beat them up, and then you run away. You take the mastery.
You stun them, and then you beat them up, and you run quickly away before they can catch up to you.
Some extra hotkeys for quick crafting. So I think I used the tilde, right? It auto crafts whatever's on the left. Apparently you can like craft based on the slot that the item is in, which I probably still won't use. If it's a food item I want to craft, I usually just click on it. I think foods is the only stuff that doesn't auto craft with the tilde because it's not in your build. But yeah, I guess cool for people who want to use these. But yeah, it's not gonna affect my gameplay. I don't know about you guys.
Nope.
I just call that a squiggly, by the way. The fact that it's called a tilde tilts me. I don't understand why it's called a tilde. It's a squig.
I couldn't even spell tilde if you asked me. I could take a shot at it just because of how it sounds, but
I imagine it's TILDA.
That's what I would guess.
It's probably not.
Yeah.
Right. It's a squiggly.
All right, I'm really glad they're doing this, by the way, because this really helps when new players come in the game with how frequently they're adding characters, because it's literally every 2 weeks. But yeah, they're reducing character prices for some of the older characters. So like Nadine, normally all the characters have been set to like 8K of the in-game currency. But yeah, they've been reducing some of the older characters down to like 5K. And of course, they gave you Aya and Jackie for free as a new player. Which, by the way, great characters to give new players. You guys want to touch on that real quick? Do you guys like that they gave Aya and Jackie to to new players for free?
I agree. I think it's really good to have Jackie and Aya for free. They're easier. They're slightly easier characters and more forgiving characters. I feel like. I know that right now the tutorial has Yuki and Hejin, but I feel like their kits are flashy, you know, but Jackie and Aya are easier to play.
Hey, Jackie, Aya, A1 picks. You got your range, you got your melee. You know, I think clean. Yep.
Yeah, both characters have 3 weapons. Technically, Jackie has 4 with dual sword, but yeah, really nice variety there. And then I think it'd be cool. I don't know if they have this already, but if they added a thing where it's like after you play like your first like online game or whatever, like you can also pick like a free character between like they give you like 5 to look at. Because I know a lot of people love Yuki. You know, I think that'd be just so cool if people could like pick Yuki as a character and like not have to save up for him. They just like let's say they see like a montage of the game, right? They're like, I want to play this game because that character looks super cool. If they give them a list of like 5 characters to pick from after like a PvP game, just to pick one, I think that'd be super cool.
Oh, this is a theoretical thing. I thought you were saying this was already in the game. I was going to say that's so cool. Yeah, no, I think that'd be great. Like, just pick your favorite, pick your protagonist, and then you can go play him for free, and then you know it gets people more into the game, especially when they have options.
Yeah, because yeah. Anyways,
right now I'm just sitting on my mountainous throne of A-Coin, by the way, looking down upon those who don't have.
Yeah, I don't know what it's like for people to not own every character. Nathapon. Okay, so now we're on to character balance changes. Camera Boy is getting some extra flat HP and some HP per level.
Shout out to Christian, by the way.
Shout out for Nathapon. I thought
the A-Coin situation.
Oh. The Nathapon, I will say, is the resident camera boy here. He doesn't need this change. I would say the best change you could ever make to this character is give him either a 4-score or not a VF blood sample because he won't use lifesteal, but you need to give him a 4-score camera for the game.
I think Nathapon has really strong base attack already. At level 1, Nathapon actually hurts. Like, hurts. Yeah,
it's from his passive. His passive gives him 40 raw damage on hit, which scales up to 120 at level 9. Because 40, 120.
Does anyone build his Enad pistol at all, or I don't?
That's who killed you, Jake. When your game messed up, he was going Enad.
Oh yeah. When I was like AFK.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's garbage. But yeah, no, people build it, and then they never I've never seen them win with it. I'll say.
Oh, I think he just needs better weapons in general.
Yeah, they need. Yeah, Nathapon needs to be allowed to crit on his auto attacks, and then that will make some of his other. Honestly, just making it to where he could crit will make his other cameras just innately better.
Oh, could you imagine like a Rage Blade situation with him, like a Rage Blade passive on one of these on a pistol?
So he has fixed attack speed. Giving him more attack speed doesn't increase his damage, doesn't increase his attack speed. It gives him extra on hit damage from his passive, but the scaling is completely awful.
Right. The Rage Blade is like the double attacks though. Like it basically
like
attacks two attacks in one. Yeah. So I don't know. It would work well with some of his abilities.
I hope they never add that effect to this game. Honestly,
really,
it's hard to balance around.
Yeah.
There'll be cool things I think maybe later on. Right now, it's far too early to add that to the game. Nikki, some extra attack power per level. Apparently, they don't think she's doing very well late game. I will say I'm seeing more and more Nikkis, and I'm seeing them do pretty well. They actually frontline and disrupt quite strongly, especially when someone in your team attacks her while she's praying. She's actually really disruptive with that root, the AoE root for 1 second, and she just kind of pounds on people.
She's got HP to spare. She's got plenty of lockdown CC. She's got plenty of heal for squads and duos. She's got a really good kit for squads and duos. Solos, I think she falls off a bit for sure.
I would argue that she's the best glove character in the game, followed by Jan. That would be an argument I would make.
I feel like Jan has an edge on her right now just because how strong Jan is.
I feel like Nikki's better because she can handle range and melee.
Right. Nikki, I definitely would put Nikki in tiers above Hanwoo, like glove Hanwoo. And I feel like I honestly think Jan just has a little bit of edge on Nikki.
Yeah, so out of the glove characters, we have Hyunwoo, we have Leon, we have Jan, we have Nikki, and Lead Island. I think that's it, right?
Yes.
Five glove characters. So, Yeah, she's probably strong. I would say she's probably the strongest. I don't think Jan is stronger than her.
I think that Jan would beat Nikki in a 1v1, but I think Nikki has a much better...
more tools.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got more wrenches in her tool bag. Get it.
Alright, Daniel. This character is garbage. Let's see what they do. Higher base attack speed, which will always mean that percent attack speed items will just do better on him from before, because it's all based on base attack speed. That's all cool. Q is no longer a flat 12-second cooldown. It now scales from 14 to 10. Don't think this matters, honestly. It just means his Q has more uptime, I guess, in a fight later on. W. The stored damage. It's basically the proc when you proc it. Instead of doing 20% of the damage you dealt during that time period, it's 22%. It still starts at the same. That 2% doesn't matter. Can now be inspired by characters that are immune to debuffs. However, the mark explosion will not deal damage to target is immune to debuffs or targetable. Immune to debuffs, is that just like Tonfa, Prairie, and like Hyunwoo W? I don't really know. I don't immune to debuffs. I'm not sure. Like Sua W?
Jenny passive.
Debuff like Sua, yeah, I was looking at Sua W.
Jenny passive. When she's dead.
So, like, maybe this mark was doing damage to people that were immune to debuffs before and no longer is, so it's almost actually kind of a nerf. But yeah, just adding 2% of the damage, yeah, that doesn't change anything. And his ult has a lower cooldown.
Ooh, way down, too. I think 20 seconds less on a cooldown is quite a bit.
I don't think this... He needs more damage, not a lower... He doesn't need his ult to be up more, he needs more damage so that he has a better shot at killing who he's trying to kill. Because it feels like he blows his combo and he gets you down to... If I'm being generous, he gets you down to about 30% HP. Sometimes he only gets you down to like 60% HP. Yeah.
I was gonna say half.
I'm being generous. He can get you down to like 30% HP.
Half. His full combo gets you to half.
So having your ult up again doesn't change the fact that you didn't kill your target. Like, I'm not saying it should be Zed guaranteed, like one-shot the guy you're going for. But like, he needs more damage. Not a lower cooldown. Yeah, so this character is probably still awful. That's my opinion on it.
I like how they take shots. They take shots at the Daniel players in the patch notes.
Oh, do they? Daniel's strength is still hiding in the shadows even after the players have started to figure him out. This should help him out. You know,
yeah, read the last sentence.
This should help him out.
No. At the last I'm sorry, the last bullet point. Read it.
Last bullet point. There is now a short cooldown between the first and second hit for all the bed measure. Oh, I've done this. You ult and then you immediately come out on accident. I've done that before.
You just
but like that's on me, right? That's not on the character.
Yeah.
That's a user error.
Yeah. I mean, this is fine. This is for like newer players. I get it. But even when played properly, I don't think he does much damage.
True.
He feels like, if I were to compare him with Shoichi, they feel about the same in power. Whereas Shoichi is more mobile and this guy does a slightly more damage. Like, this guy's biggest strength is he can become untargetable with his ult. Whereas Shoichi's biggest strength is his mobility. Like, they both feel just kind of weak. Yeah, so Razi, this character is actually pretty good. Let's see. Razi is strange. That's an interesting statement. I don't think she's strange. I guess that's why they call her the Enigma. Okay, Aesop, relax. She is pretty consistent, because, you know, Aesop translates all these.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We love you, by the way, Aesop.
She's pretty consistently outdueling other characters in situations where it should be more of a 50-50. Kind of disagree. I feel like dueling is her strong point. I feel like she should win most fights. Maybe not. No, maybe that's rude. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I feel like Razi's like...
I feel like she is a duelist.
Yeah. If she's auto-attacking perfectly, I feel like she should be winning. Anyways, this should help bring her back in line a bit. So what do they do? 2 less HP per level, which is 40 at level 20. So she loses like 40 max HP. Defense per level... What's this?
Oh, that hurts.
6. Well, it's only 6 defense at level 20. So we're losing 40 HP, 6 defense in a perfect situation. Her W doesn't reduce healing as much. I think that's fine. And then her E cooldown is up by 2 seconds at level... whatever. Call me crazy, I have accessibility last, but I'm not a Razi player.
Yeah, so this is obviously a nerf, right? But, like, am I like actually like
Worried?
I'm glad they didn't touch her
actually care?
damage, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't care. Like this is like, it kind of feels like, ooh, you did something bad. Here's a slap on the wrist. You know,
Like
that's what.
I like how they hit healing reduction. If they think she's winning duels against sustained characters,
Yeah.
like I'm glad that this is how they went instead of hitting damage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why I said like, yeah, because I can bring white rhinos to the fight. I can take other healing reduction items. There's definitely more healing reduction in the game now, so many more options for that. But yeah, no, I honestly I'm fine with this. Like as a Rozzy player, I'm completely fine with this. I don't feel like they gutted my character or anything like that. I think they did this in the right way.
Alright, Dylan, this character is complete trash. Alright, what do they do? Increasing her base attack speed. Wait, hold on. 0.1 from, so it's 0.03, but they only gave Daniel 0.02. Alright, I respect it. As a Dylan player, I'm glad. Glad we got a better treatment than Daniel. And then her ult, going up 15 damage at all ranks, push 5%. Okay, this is really good. I'm already calling it. Dylan is back. This is actually all she needed. This is all she needed. I'm calling it now. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to explain as someone who doesn't play Dylan, like to understand like what this changes. But attack speed scaling, getting just more auto attacks off, and spending less time just standing there, is so nice. It also means your second proc from your passive comes out faster, because you know how you get the double hit. It's like it's basically a Rozzy, right? Is after using a spell. Yeah. As long as you're managing your passive properly, you get like the double hit. Yeah, but like the attack speed also means the double hit comes out faster. Like this is so nice. And then the ult, like getting like the 15 at like level 16 doesn't actually change a lot, but this changes a lot at level 6. Like this changes a lot at level 6, getting this much extra damage per hit. So I'm calling it now. Dylan is back, and I will say no more. All right, Rio. I heard about this thing on the roadmap, but let's see what they said. Fleeting Soul, which is her short bow R, will be split into 2 attacks. First attack will fire multiple arrows, which is the 3-shot thing. Reactivate to fire an arrow that knocks back enemies. So there's only there's one super important thing about this, and then there's one potential thing that could be good about this. The first one is, can you reactivate it faster than it used to be able to come out? So where you can get almost an instant condemn. That's super important to know. There are some times where if you fired off your 3-shot ult, and you like as soon as like there's sometimes as Rio when you ult you feel like immediately that you whiffed. So there might be some situations where you can hold off on the condemn part if you think someone is going to walk into it. What I suspect though is that when you fire off the 3 shots, you're probably locked into that like lean back stance where you can't auto attack until you reactivate the second part. Actually, wait. Now, what if it was so insane that you fire off the 3 shots, you can just auto attack and then you have condemn ready? There's no way they did it like that, though, right?
I think we'll have to test it out in the practice pool and see what it looks like.
Yeah. So yeah, like, this will be an in-game thing. If you can condemn faster than you could before, this is like OP because this is the best hyper carry in the game.
Bernice, thank God.
I kind of like if we're on to Rio, like I just want to talk about Nadine. Like Rio's the best hyper carry in the game that doesn't need to farm animals, whereas Nadine is the infinite scaling one, where even if she farms 60 hunt like in one game, she still does infinitely less damage than Rio. Like I feel like there's an issue there, is Rio doesn't need animal stacks to do damage. Her items are just based on level, which you can get from just crafting random things for like that. I don't know.
What you're saying is
Nadine needs a big buff.
Give Nadine back her animal buffs.
Alright, Bernice. Puff 2 patches ago became even stronger, bringing him back in line. Less move speed. Reload time on his passive is longer. His move speed on his E is down 4% and longer cooldown. Oh, are we back to maxing Q? Okay. I'm fine with that. What's this gift? What's this gift they put?
Run away, kite out kite people, and somehow you just couldn't catch up.
Well, the move speed was only ever chasing characters. It wasn't running away.
I think that GIF is just showing the reload time.
So it looks like the one on the left. Before he could get 6 shots off, but now he can only get 5 shots off. Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah. It probably makes Polaris look a little bit better, considering you have 4 shots before you reload.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is fine. Jukai, higher cooldown on his E by 2 seconds at all ranks. His E is his like dash ability. Adriana's passive, when she burns people, it ticks every 0.56 seconds from every 0.5 seconds. I'm gonna be honest, this doesn't change anything. At all. Yeah. I don't.
Please stop touching Adriana.
Those characters OP.
She's no one plays her in solos. Come on.
Okay, yeah, in solos. Adela. Oh, I read this change. This change is insane, by the way. So her Q cooldown is now changed to start before casting time. So when you press Q on Adela, there's like the cast time right before the pawn comes down. Well, now it goes on cooldown as you're casting the pawn. So they put the cast time here.
Oh.
So basically, you can cast the Q again, 0.23 seconds faster, if that makes
Get
sense.
your queen off faster.
You can spam your Q. Yeah, exactly. You can spam her pawns faster. So if you think about it, right, the queen is the 4th pawn. So if you multiply this by 4, you can actually get queen out from 0 stacks 1 second faster.
It'll be nice. I think it's a nice change.
ISIL, please don't hurt my boy too much. Let's see. Bonus damage per stack. So this is after the bomb is already attached. Losing some attack power scaling. That's probably fine. It hurts pistol more than it hurts assault rifle. Camouflage. Oh, your dash range is down. Oh my god. That sucks. Okay. It's probably fine. It makes chasing ISIL easier, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And considering you should be maxing this ability second, you still have a decent amount of stealth time to... It is more on you outmaneuvering versus just purely running in a straight line and getting away from someone because your dash range is long. I think that's fine. And then his ult, he can... Oh yeah, they nerfed it to where you couldn't stack up an infinite amount of ults last patch. Now they're making it to where you can at least have 2 ults. But they hurt the damage a lot. Okay, well, that kind of sucks. Yeah, okay. Let me just go over these real quick. Jess, did you want to say anything about Adriana besides please stop touching her?
No, just please stop touching her, Nimble Neuron. Stop touching her. Stop touching her.
Alright, Alex, 10 seconds off of his ult. That's probably fine.
Initiating slow clap for the Alex players.
Oh, Jan. Okay. I didn't read over these before. So let's see. Success has been shown to be matchup based. Okay, when I say matchup based, I just assume melee versus range. I'm assuming that means he does well in melee. When him usually coming out on top in particular situations, we're adjusting him a bit to give his enemies some outplay potential. So his passive, when stacked up to 5 times, refunds less cooldown. But his Q has a 1 second lower cooldown than before. They nerfed the damage on the second Q early on, but at level 9, or I guess 10, because it's passive, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change. His E, you can dash further than before, and it's a 1 second lower cooldown than before. His ult doesn't slow as much when you walk into the wall. Wait, how does this make him weaker in some
I think it makes him stronger, yeah. I was about to say the same thing.
I mean, yeah, it makes him better into range matchups because your dash is longer, the lower cooldown. I guess, yeah, okay. I mean, alright, Nimble Neuron, you know best. Not really. I mean, I'm down with this. Like, Jan is really fun to play. And I don't think he's oppressive to play against, but, like, he's also... Like, just because you're a top-tier character doesn't make you necessarily oppressive. I think he's super good. I think they'll probably nerf him in next patch because they, for whatever reason, didn't realize that this is probably too much of a buff. So
weird.
I think Jan is going to be probably just better than Nikki this patch, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah.
Maybe they're testing the waters.
At the expense of everyone in hospital.
Yeah. Nimble Neuron, testing the waters. I don't go to hospitals, so...
I mean, did they buff his damage, right? They didn't touch his damage, technically, right? It's just cooldowns, so it's more... Yeah, so they didn't touch his damage.
The early damage on his second Q, that's it.
Yeah, the Q, early damage.
So I guess what I'm saying is his damage isn't higher, it's just that his cooldowns come back quicker, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So technically he doesn't do more damage in, like, a 1 rotation, despite how high that damage is. Okay. I don't know. I think this dash is a really cool idea to help him deal with range, though. But I feel like the lower cooldowns and everything was not the greatest idea, considering that it affects melee matchups just as much as ranged.
Mm-hmm.
All right, William. If there's an obstacle where the passive ball will spawn, the ball can now spawn beyond the obstacle.
Oh, and he now gets 2 balls for his Q.
What? Where? Am I dumb?
It didn't. It would. Yeah, he does now though.
I remember in the roadmap, but they didn't put it in the patch notes. That's why I was thinking it wasn't in the game.
Is it not in yet? Let me double check him. I'll pull him up right now. William.
That was really dangerous.
No, it's not. Yeah, so they have it in the roadmap for this patch, but they didn't put it in.
Q ability. Oh yeah, I guess it's only in the roadmap still. It's only 1 ball.
Alright, 11. One of my favorite hammer characters. I actually think I like 11 more than Suith.
No, wait.
Her W, damage reduction when fully charged. Oh my god, she's tankier. Let's go.
She's an actual tank now.
Now she can beat the crap out of anyone with a crit build even better, because she just takes less damage for free. Alright, I mean, I'm kind of down. Yeah, I'm not even kind of down. I'm super down for this change. Ava. This should stop Ava from totally spamming VF Eruption, which is her ult.
Yes.
VF gain for her passive will only happen out of combat. This was like a really important change. There was one game we played where she ulted fully charged like 3 different times in a fight. Like a one fight, like within 60 seconds of each other in combat the whole time. So yeah, this like if this wasn't for that fight, like she stood no chance. Her dash range is now longer though. Changed from her E is changed from a teleport to a dash. Wait, I didn't even realize it was a teleport.
Is it really?
Resulting in some differences when passing through obstacles. Oh, so you know how like when you hedge an E over a wall, right? If you end the E in terrain, it'll teleport you to the far side because you basically made it, kind of thing. So basically, if you eat over a wall that was super thick, but like the dash would end you at a certain point, but it would put you on the other side because it was classified as a teleport. It's interesting, but now it's a dash, but they increase the range.
So if you E over me, you'd end up on the other side.
Sure. And then they increase the cooldown by 1 second. Okay, that's fine. So
Yuki.
The passive nerf is the most important one, I think. Yuki, less HP per level, less defense per level. Honestly, it doesn't change the fact of how useful this character is. He's super ratty. His ult still is the same. Yeah, he's super good. Jackie. Extra damage for bleeding enemies. Attack power increase from decent amount. But the raw move speed she gets from pressing W is now lower by 4% at max rank. But when moving towards bleeding enemies, it's actually up 6%. So a net gain of 2% if you're chasing someone with W. And then the E cooldown is down by 1 second at all ranks, and the slow is a little bit higher if you land on a bleeding enemy. Okay, I mean, yeah, I like it. I always like Jackie chase buffs over rat buffs.
Yep. Good change, Nimble Neuron. I like this.
Fiora, less move speed, less HP per level, and her ultimate no longer consumes mana when attacking traps or cameras. Cool.
Oh, that's good. That's really good for her, actually.
I think the biggest change they ever made for this was actually a Yuki change, where he no longer consumes buttons on cameras. But yeah, they're basically doing the same thing with Fiora here, but it's less important because it's just mana. They're adding a new unique passive to the game. There's only 2 new items that have it. We'll cover it when we get to those items. Glove skill, level 7, the cooldown is a little bit higher, but it's the same at level 14. Bloodwing Knuckles, which is the HP glove that no one builds. Well, apparently they build it because it got nerfed. Lost a little bit of move speed. Brazil Gauntlets, this is like your basically your high attack speed, comes with defense, comes with regen on it glove. Generally a tankier glove, more of a scrappy glove, so they're giving it 2 more AD and 5% more attack speed. We'll probably see this glove more. It still gets outclassed by the Enad glove, and then obviously if you're a skill amp character, you're going to go the skill amp glove. So this probably makes it more competitive with the Enad glove. The issue is that Enad glove synergizes so well with glove characters because of the auto reset with the glove skill. So
you just said a word that triggered my gorilla monkey instinct.
Which one?
You said regen?
Oh yeah. Don't worry, they've gutted regen in this patch. If you're not.
I'm sad.
You know what I could see this glove being good on though is Leon, actually. If he's standing on a water pool, he gets a lot of he gets ENAD or something when he's on the water, right?
Yeah.
I can see this being because this routes with like Amazonas and stuff. You can go like a tankier build. As long as you're on water, you still have relevant damage. I actually think this could be pretty good on him.
But I don't remember, but does the ENAD glove even give attack speed?
No, it gives a move speed penalty though.
Oh,
it's like 55 attack power, just like this. Well, 57. Mm-hmm. It's like 55 attack power, and then it's like 39 ENAD.
Oh, I see.
All right, pistol changes. Stampede. So I've read over this before. So basically, how do I word this? I'm not very good with words. Essentially, the second bullet from Stampede, the damage would scale with skill amp. So it would actually calculate skill amp twice. So let's say the bullet was going to do 100 damage, plus you have 100% skill amp. So it would do 200 damage, because let's just say that's how the math was, right? So it's a 200% damage bullet. But because you have 100% skill amp, it would then double to 400 magic damage, right? So skill amp was basically being calculated twice. So they changed the bullet to be cellular damage instead of skill damage, so it doesn't get calculated twice.
Oh, I see.
But then they compensate by giving it extra skill amp scaling.
I was gonna say, did you know that I saw a couple Sylvias building Stampede? I was curious how that worked.
So as much, I just want to clarify that like as much as this looks like a buff, because you're basically doubling the skill amp scaling, and then adding missing target's HP. This scaling is not being like multiplied twice. So again, like it could be a buff. It's one of those you have to see in game kind of things. But just know, like gut reaction, it's because it's not being calculated twice anymore based on your skill amp.
Yeah. So when they initially released Stampede, it was calculating the bullet's skill amp on top of the actual like skill amp of your character. So that's why it was calculating it twice, correct?
Yes.
That's so weird. I feel like that's something that should have been worked out before they released the pistol.
I think it's fine because the numbers weren't super crazy on it.
Yeah,
I guess.
I think what's gonna have to happen is people are probably going to into practice duel, see which one does more damage and how it looks like late game.
Devil's Marksman, our meteorite pistol.
All right, I called this 2 weeks ago when we found out about this change and we were playing. I said this gun has too many bullets to get to the last bullet in the magazine. Next patch, they're going to be reduce the amount of ammo in it, and it's finally happening.
Thank goodness.
Good.
And you know, ironically, they put 4 because of Jenny's passive is every 4 shots. Is my guess.
Genius. Absolute genius.
You want to know something though? I'm like Devil's Marksman. Like, oh god, that pistol on Aya is gross.
So yeah, and then of course because they changed this to cellular damage as well, so they're making the raw skill amp and the extra skill damage like just better in general, so it's not getting calculated twice. Also, no, because it hasn't been touched, you also heal from this attack, the fourth shot in this pistol. I think because of the lower magazine count now, I think this is very buildable, and you're actually gonna have a lot of healing on the pistol characters that run this. Unironically, if you're running skill amp, I think this is actually an amazing pistol now. It went from being the worst pistol in the game that you never want to build to this is actually going to be amazing.
You ask me my thoughts on this Devil's Marksman change.
What are your thoughts on this change?
Vroom vroom.
There's no flat amp still.
You said healing, vroom, vroom.
All right.
I don't know. This pistol's actually so easy to build. Just to remind you, the recipe is 2 guns and oil. You just find all of those in factory. It's so easy to build.
I mean, with you just need meteorite, right?
Yes, plus meteorite.
So basically, I'm getting 2 guns, oil, finishing my entire build, then looking for meteorite.
Yes.
You run around the world.
This pistol also gives I believe it gives innate attack speed. I think it's like 30 or 35% attack speed on the pistol. So it's actually not bad at getting all 4 shots out relatively quickly. So yeah, I think Devil's Marksman is actually the best pistol in the game if you're not running Rozzy. I think Rozzy's probably the only one that won't run this. But yeah, we got new daggers. Oh, actually, changes to Carnarvon. Carnarvon now has less ENAD early on, but more ENAD later on. So it breaks even at level 13. Nothing is super important there. It makes Bleeder Jackie a little bit less grief, but actually technically a little bit better late game. But I guess late game you could go Fragarack anyways, so I mean,
yeah, I don't think that would keep that late game.
Yeah, this is just a nerf to Bleeder Jackie, I feel like, because no one else builds Karna 1 unless they're memeing. Like, you can build Karna 1 as a meme. This hurts meme builds, but yeah, the only meta build that builds Karna 1 is a Bleeder Jackie. Because I know Cafe goes Skill Amp, Shoichi goes Skill Amp, or he also goes the HP dagger. Is actually really good on him, I will say, because it has a lot of raw attack power. I actually copied it from.
Are you talking about Viral Blade?
No, it's the one that gives Grievous Wounds. It gives like 250 HP, gives like 66 attack power, and then like Grievous Wounds. I forget what it's called, but yeah. Basically, that's really good. I copied ECU's build for
Damascus.
Damascus.
Yeah, Damascus.
Yeah, that's actually a really good dagger. And then, of course, you know, if you're going to go Vibro, you'll probably see Kathy, if she's going crit, you'll see Vibro. And then Daniel, I think Vibro's his best. I've seen some Daniels go Karna 1 because it gives CDR. But again, like, Daniel has other issues. It's not just his dagger, so.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. Damascus Steel, though, that's a 3-zone weapon, though.
Yes, it's one zonable. Like the blue dagger is one zonable in school, and then yeah, you need like a nail and mousetrap from other zones.
Right. So it's like that's still a 3-zone weapon because you don't get nails and mousetrap in the same zones.
Correct. All right, and we have a new dagger in the game. I've looked at the components for this. This is 3 zonable from if you go Forest Beach Hotel, you can actually build this there. So yeah, the new dagger stats are, it's 42 attack power, it's like the same as Karna 1. It gives defense, which I don't remember if Karna 1 gives defense. I know it gives regen. But this also has the new passive that they've added in. Hitting a single enemy 3 times with basic attacks or a single target skill, excluding weapons and item skills, within 4 seconds provides a status for 2.5 seconds. Basic attacks hitting multiple times or dot skills are counted as 1 hit, so it's like Jackie Q only counts as 1 hit kind of thing. So this has a 6-second cooldown, and it's a buff that lasts for 2.5 seconds. The buff increases your attack power by 33% and move speed by 10%.
I wonder who's gonna build this.
The
new character, right? It's like literally built for him. It looks like.
I think Daniel will try it out. I also consider Shoichi might try it. I'm gonna try this on Shoichi, I will say.
Let me know how it goes. I don't normally play dagger characters.
Yeah. Like. It also probably isn't bad on Jackie. We'll have to see what else routes with the dagger, like what other items can be built. But yeah, because like 33% attack power is a decent amount. But again, it only lasts for 2.5 seconds, and it's after you've already quote unquote blown some of your load, right? Because you have to basic attack or hit someone with a single target spell. Yeah. So I think Shoichi's only single target spell is actually his E, and I don't know if it'll proc with his passive. I hope it. If it synergizes with his passive, because his Q and his W are both considered AoE, but when he throws a dagger, that should be single target. So we'll have to see. Because getting some extra attack power while you finish your combo on Shoichi might actually matter. But we'll see. I'll keep an eye on ECU's batch history. So assault rifles. Agni is losing some attack speed. I believe it because it's a legendary weapon that's 3 zonable. And yeah, you're pretty strong in Chapel when you finish it. Rapier skills, the Durandal, the 2 zonable red rapier is getting 3% more lifesteal. Fultocleto, generally I believe it's a 3-zone weapon, has the attack speed built into it, is getting 3 extra attack power. So they're buffing these after they nerfed Fiora. My question is this going to be a huge change to the Kiara? Because the crit Kiara goes Fultocleto. It's only 3 attack power, so it's not super crazy.
Yeah, the crit was a meta thing for quite a while on Kiara.
And then super nice quality of life thing here. Pay attention to the bat skill. So obviously Luke and Magnus are probably your 2 most common ones, the third being Barbara. So they changed it to where now when you hit someone with bat skill, they're more likely to go the direction you're facing rather than like it's like kind of an angle thing, right, with where your bat was. Yeah. So like the old, it used to like kind of go off to the right here, but now it kind of, even though it's on the right side, it still kind of goes straight forward.
Yeah, I was playing Luke, and I used bat skill, and it was at like a weird angle. Like it was kind of like kind of like on the very edge of the arc, and Jess had just used her ultimate on Adriana to displace them, and they ended up behind me after bat skill somehow.
Yeah, that was weird.
They ended up flying behind me after bat skill.
Bat skill Adriana R. Let's go.
I think I like this. Just more consistency.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's not a surprise when you get hit and you go straight back. And
imagine he gets knocked into the corner. All right, I'm just gonna run this way then. He just leaves.
Yeah. I like this change too.
All right, dual swords. Now there's actually a hint at the next character with this change. So the second cast damage. This is basically the Yone ult, the dash part. They're buffing the level 14 weapon mastery skill damage on it by actually a lot. An extra 45% attack power onto that skill. I think this is actually a really good change considering dual swords late game feel kind of it feels like you can't auto attack a whole lot, but it does feel like you can generally get your weapon skill off, like at least the first part, and then the fact that they're just adding more damage onto the second part, I think is good. I don't think this changes a whole lot because I feel like dual swords are less useful late game, but this kind of tries to keep them more relevant. And again, like I said, it feels like you can't auto attack as much late game because a lot of people have so much damage, a lot of like CC and whatnot. So it feels like you're either dead or you're chasing someone down, and there's not a lot of time to auto attack.
I'm excited for the next change that I've seen too, though.
Yeah, the second. I'm glad they're putting this attack power on the second cast. By the way, it's the first. Obviously, they just got done changing the rampage skill a few patches ago, but I'm really liking the mechanics of the rampage because it offers. Oh, if you land the rampage, you can go on and use it again. You know. Whereas before you could just use it twice.
Yeah,
regardless.
And then I like this statement because this kind of tells us the next character is actually a dual sword character. I was really hoping for like dual rapier, but yeah, it says improvements for overall dual sword weapon type is planned for the next update. All right, Jake, come on, tell me. I know you're thinking what I'm thinking. What's the best change for dual sword that could possibly happen in the game?
And what's the best change for dual sword that could possibly happen in the game?
It's save plans. We need a dual sword weapon category.
Oh my god, yes, please. Make dual swords an option. Please. I am so tired of having to scroll down in all the weapons to find dual swords. Just make it a category, please, Nimble Neuron.
I'll tell you a life hack. You know the best way to do it is to actually click on, like, if you're going Yuki, for example, you actually click on the two-handed sword, and then you click on the green swords, like the dual swords, on the right-hand side, because it shows like what it builds into. That's the life hack.
Quality of life hack. Still, it needs its own category. I don't think they need their own like you know how like you would choose a weapon to build. I don't think it needs that because you build from the long sword or the knife.
Right.
But it definitely should have its own category. Nimble Neuron, please.
All right. Death Rune change. Buff to the Hex proc, just a little extra 25% skill amp damage.
I think it's good. I think this is really good. Most of the time when you go Death Rune, because it requires a meteorite, most of the time you use it like as a secondary, and you go Mystic Jade Charm as your primary, and Death Rune is literally your secondary. But this should make it a little bit better.
For me, I felt like because I used Death Rune in some of our games recently, it was doing some work. It was definitely slapping, but like. Yeah, I guess I could see how it could use a little bit of a kick, you know.
Maybe it doesn't quite feel like it's the reward that you earned, kind of thing.
I feel like it needs a little bit more just to be worth getting meteorite for. Because honestly, I wouldn't prioritize building this over even Rio having her the upgraded headpiece. I forget what it is called.
Not only that, this item was actually pretty difficult to build, like the Death Rune, because it requires playing cards, fountain pen, and chalk in order to make the charm, and then from there you can make. You have to two zone it and then get meteorite. No, it's Tree of Life. Sorry. Yeah, so it's...
No, it's meteorite.
It used to be tree though. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it used to be tree. Now it's meteorite. Yeah,
But you
the
have
thing
to
is, like,
2-zone to get the components for it before you even get meteorite.
right,
So that's
right. So,
it's kind of a
think
lot,
about,
yeah.
the trade for like the trade for what it's worth.
I'm just
the
looking at
songs aren't there.
I'm just looking at Devil's Marksman, 1 zonable plus meteorite.
Exactly.
That
Yeah,
spawns
right,
in a
right.
meteorite zone, you know.
Well,
Right, and you're looking at this thing, okay? Playing cards, fountain pen, chalk, make your charm first, and then your meteorite.
Alright, and then I want to say Pedal Torrent. I haven't seen this a single time since they've made it a Glacial Ice Shuriken.
I've seen a
Sorry,
couple
I've seen it
of,
once. They were dead.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of Alex play it. Not sure how I feel too much about it. I haven't built it at all since they made changes to it.
So here's
I don't get why don't just make it 80. 73 to 78 just feels very arbitrary. Just make it 80. Just make it 80.
Siam's just so hard to build now.
So why did they take it away? Like it's still hard to build, by the way. Like minus the Glacial Ice, you still have to go to like 3 or 4 different zones to build this the Shuriken.
Lighter,
but now they're like, oh yeah,
needle, poison,
use Glacial Ice too. It's like, yeah, I'm not
nanowire,
spending the effort.
gunpowder, shrapnel.
Instead of going to
You
3 or
can
4
3 zone
zones,
this.
I'd rather just kill animals for mastery.
Yeah, you can 3-zone this, but you can also just go all the way down the left side and do the whole like archery range to beach route and then make some skill amp items. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. I just don't like Pedal Torrent right now. And then you also need tree. It's just like, why bother?
Thematically though, it was always a Shuriken that you had a backup for. So it kind of makes sense that it's like a tree thing, right? Because it's like, oh, you'll have your primary Shuriken with you, right? It's just it's such a pain in the ass to build still. Like, why make it tree and a pain in the ass, right?
I mean,
My OCD is still killing me. Just make it 80. Nimble Neuron, if you're listening, make it 8. It's right there. You're right at the gates. Just open them up.
I mean, listen to what you need to make it. You have like what: needle, paper, lighter, ice, piano wire, gunpowder, scrap metal, and tree of life, and water.
Yeah.
This is a ridiculous item.
Oh my gosh, dude! I just looked down and my OCD is killing me even more. We got Mono Hoshi's out coming in with a 3 extra attack power.
Used to be a legendary sword. Now you practically never see this item built because it doesn't give that much mastery crafting. And unless I'm mistaken, I believe it's still a 4-zone weapon.
Because 55 would be too much, by the way.
For a 4-zone weapon, yeah, you know.
Just 2 attack power. Just give it 55. I don't get it.
We're getting into it now. The HP regen nerfs, we're coming in.
No regen.
All right, Excalibur losing 55 flat HP and some percent regen. Sniper rifles, some buffs, or sorry, some nerfs to the green and blues. These literally don't matter. TAC 50, this is Bernice's go-to sniper rifle, losing 4 attack power and 4% lifesteal. The 4% lifesteal is actually more impactful than the attack power. So this item has scaling attack power, so you get this. Basically, you're 2 levels behind where you were before, as far as scaling attack power. This change is really scary, even with the Bernice passive nerf. I think this is why they felt okay doing it, because they nerfed his passive. His
wow.
Yeah, this is the one magazine, or what do you call it, 1 ammo count sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Yikes.
It's the gold one, Blackfire. That one I saw on a Bernice, and that Bernice hurt so bad. Like,
Honestly, I think I'm more excited to play Bernice now than the new character. Despite the fact that I don't really like playing Bernice now, that looks fun.
the only downside to Blackfire Cannon is you do have to get a True Fire, so you have to compete for tree for that, and I think that's more like a late game thing. So
It's definitely a second tree thing, yeah.
Yeah. It's a second tree thing. There's no way you go first tree on it. So second tree. But what do you build? Polaris? If you build Polaris on Bernice and then you go into Blackfire, I feel like that's pretty decent, right?
It's just go TAC 50, go to Hotel Tree.
I think Polaris is. I feel
I
like Polaris is better in this situation because you're losing some lifesteal off of TAC 50 now, and Polaris is just gonna be better with the larger magazine size to compensate against the. Because I would say Bernices are kind of 50-50 now on whether they go Polaris or TAC 50. So I think now Polaris is going to be used more often, is my guess.
Yeah, I think, but I for sure think people are going to go Polaris first and then trade into Blackfire for it.
I still don't think it's bad. If you see a Bernice with TAC 50, like, he can probably still mess you up. Like, there's no doubt about it. It's just
yeah, you still got that butler suit to compensate for some of the lifesteal.
Yeah.
A lot of attack power still. I honestly don't think the TAC 50 nerfs are huge at all.
Wait, why are we not talking about Aya, guys? She's got a sniper rifle.
Oh, which one? The gold one? You love that deadly, right?
Oh my god, hold on. I'm gonna go on a very short rant. For the love of God, buff sniper skill, alright? It's so fucking bad, alright? It does no damage. Like, I understand it's low cooldown, long ass range. It's basically, like, if you're using it as poke, I get it. It's not doing that much damage, right? Increase the damage percentage when someone's low health, alright? That sniper skill does no damage. Like, at all. Like, please, just buff. There you go. I'm done.
Is that skill amp scaling, or is it just
all weapon skills scale with skill amp? So like that's why you see like Hedge bow skill do more damage than like Nadine bow skill if they're like attack power. That's why I don't think it affects Bernie's too much if you buff it, because it's proportionally going to be better for Aya because of amp.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, spear. These are targeted at Fiora, so she loses 40 HP at level 20, but this spear, Cosmic Minded, this is a Moonstone spear. You can one zone it in Temple, gets 5 more attack power, not a big deal. These are Nathapon cameras. I don't care what you do with these. I'm moving on.
Oh, these are irrelevant. I was gonna say these are irrelevant.
Tonfa reflects less damage when spinning. Okay, so here's the only other item they added in the new effect too. So this is the Mithril Tonfas.
Oh, Windrunners, yeah.
I'm already gonna tell you right now. Yeah, I'm already gonna tell you right now. It's worse than it was before because it gives less defense, less move speed.
So now no one will really build it.
It is not super easy, and so here's the way it is. So yeah, again, landing three skills or whatever on a target or whatever. So it has to be the same target. Landing 3 single target skills or attacks, which means Hyunwoo's E, Q, ult, and of course his W doesn't do damage. None of his skills actually proc this. It's only so basically for Hyunwoo's situation, it has to be 3 auto attacks. The exception is, of course, the only Tonfa character is going to be Alex. His Q is single target. So basically, Alex with Q and auto attacks can proc this as well. But yeah, giving less defense, less move speed. It's already a nerf. But yeah, after you hit X amount of attacks, you're going to get a buff for 2.5 seconds. It does give you a nice shield for 225 health, some move speed in that time frame, and some attack speed. Now, I'm going to tell you right now... Oh, sorry, let me finish my thought real quick. Hyunwoo doesn't use attack speed. Alex can use the attack speed. Hyunwoo is not going to really use the shield, because usually when he gets a target against the wall, they're probably dead. They're either dead or the engage is over. Hyunwoo slams someone into the wall and then does this thing, and then he generally walks away because that's how he trades in solos. The move speed, I guess, would help Hyunwoo walk away, as well as the shield, where he gets less retaliation damage. But Hyunwoo doesn't use the attack speed. I feel like just losing the defense and the raw move speed makes this worse because it's harder to get on your target.
Right, I don't see the benefit of building this. Like, I really, like, I don't think it's, I haven't seen any, like, I've seen a couple of Tonfa Hunwoos, and the Tonfa is, like, mainly, like, I saw one guy go Plasma Tonfa, and that was it.
There's only one change that this effect needs, by the way, and I think it would be fine for Dagger as well. Change this from single target skill to just skill.
Oh, yeah, that would be pretty good too if it's AoE.
Because hypothetically, so for in the Tonfa case, right? Hypothetically, Alex ult can actually trigger this. If he gets 3 pulses on one enemy, he gets the fat move speed, the fat shield, and the attack speed to get in there. If he's trying to chase someone down, if he gets 3 triggers from his ult, he can actually catch up to them, which encourages kills, right? Like what's wrong with that? Encouraging people fighting, and like discouraging ratting.
But how many Tonfa Alex have you seen?
Generally, you see them go the Mysok, which is the defense Tonfa, as well as Amp Shuriken is the more popular build I'm seeing. I don't see a lot of two-handed sword or pistol Alexes as much as I see Amp Shuriken and Tonfa. Tonfa is generally his go-to melee because the skill amp you get from Weapon Mastery is really high for Tonfa. And because you're already building amp with Shuriken.
Yeah, I was also gonna say, seeing the next weapon as well, the other Tonfa, Obsidian.
Oh, this is a nice buff.
Yeah,
I've built this. This is a 4-score Tonfa. It gives 50 defense and 75 attack power.
This is actually pretty good Tonfa too. Think about it, because you just hitting an enemy with a skill hex slows them. That's pretty good. And then that way you're like it's easier for you to actually get your kill. Because I know that sometimes I feel like when I play against Hanwoo players, they have a hard time finishing their kills.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this helps a little bit. I
Yeah.
think this is good for the late game.
Yeah, this is Hyunwoo's best in slot weapon. I don't care if you get free Imperial Silk Gloves every game. I'd rather go Plasma Tonfa and then like try and get the 4-score for this. Like every time. I would go Tonfa every time.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be really worth it.
Alright, and then this is the True Adriana nerf, which, Jess, I don't know if you're going to notice this because you never build this on her.
I don't often build Fireball, no. I think I will go ahead and try to build it, though, even though they nerfed it, just because it is, like, just to compare. Because I don't tend to go Fireball.
Yeah, so it used to be you got 60 flat skill damage at level 20. Now it's 50 from 60, so, like, it's
not too bad.
It's noticeable late game. 10? What do you mean it's not too bad? Like, I think White Cream gives 16 flat amp.
Yeah.
It's almost a full
what I'm saying,
accessory.
though, is like most of the time, like when you see Adrian and squads hurts anyways, you can do damage to squads.
And then bow. So I've never seen this bow built except for in the ECRS duo tournament, and it was a really wonky Rio build. But I will say, like, his build looked bad. He didn't do a lot of damage, so this bow definitely needs some love.
That's the Moonstone Bow.
Yes.
That one is. I still wouldn't even build this on Hedgen.
Yeah, like it's literally just about utility because the damage on it is it's 15% amp. I think it gives like 200 mana, and then it gives like this fat HP, which is actually nice. Now that they've buffed it this much, and it gives 92 attack power. Like,
I mean,
it looks more appealing now, but it feels. I would say the best bow user that's going to use this is actually Hedgen because of the HP. Like, it gives enough stats now, I think, that you could lose some damage from Elemental Bow in exchange for 335 HP now.
But the question is also, would you rather hold on to the meteorite and just build, what was the other gold bow? No, the gold bow.
There's Argreotoxis, which is 4-score.
Argreotoxis.
It's 4-score. Like, yeah, that's the highest damage bow in the game. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying that what do you want? I think with the changes that they're making to this bow compared to that one is, do you want the HP or do you want more damage?
Yeah, so they're now defining the difference between the bows a bit more, which I like. Yeah, because this gives
HP,
more HP than an EOD suit. Sometimes you switch EOD from Cabana just for the HP. Like, this bow gives more HP than EOD suit now.
I think it'll be good for survivability. I think you're right. I think building Artemis on Hedgen late game might help her with survivability.
I definitely feel more comfortable building this with when I have commanders, and instead of crown I have the other headpiece, and then I have no HP in my build at all. But I would feel a lot better building this if I had or I would feel a lot better with that if I could build this. I think this is a good item. I appreciate the vision range as well. So, you know.
And then Ancient Bolt is clearly just targeted at Rio because it's the only character that builds this.
Yes.
Losing 3 Enad at level 1. Technically losing 3 Enad every level, which is basically doubled because of her double auto attack. So every time she auto attacks, she's losing 6 damage.
Have you ever seen a white bow Rio attack people? Like, I feel like she does negative damage.
Yes.
I want to shout out all the Rios who realized Ancient Bolt was a weapon after this character came out, because people didn't realize it's been in the game for a long time before Rio came out.
It was the recommended weapon too, actually, surprisingly. No one knew.
Yeah, but it's just because she can abuse it with her double auto attack for the double Enad. It's like an AR but on a bow, but 2 attacks instead of 3.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine? It had so much Enad. What was it?
It was 40. It was 40 as soon as you finished
40.
it.
Yeah, 40 Enad. Oh my lord.
Yeah, you killed people in dock. Like, you saw Razi, she was dead.
Yep. Oh, it's Plasma Sword Yuki? Ha, later.
Yeah, nice try. Alright, armor, chest pieces. Sunset armor getting 2 extra defense. I feel like, honestly, you know what this changes did to me? It reminded me that sunset armor is even in the game, because I forgot this was a chest piece. So it still gives like 360 HP, and now it gives 20 defense. Yeah. It exists, guys. Please build me. That's what Neville would say.
I think sunset armor should just be moved to a purple weapon and given, like,
purple crafting?
Well, just give the different stat, like another stat.
The sunset armor is so easy to build, though. That's like sunset armor is way easier to build than commanders. When you build sunset armor, you just need a ruby, you need the cloth or the green, the cloth and leather.
Jake, you're a genius. You know exactly what stat would fit on this. It's thorns. You make it a purple. You combine sunset armor with a spike plank.
There you go. Exactly.
It becomes purple and it has thorns.
There you go. You have a transitional chest piece, and you have a purple chest piece that you can buy. That's what they need to do. Like I don't know.
And then you just nerf the HP from 360. You take it down to like 275 or something, and give it thorns.
Yeah.
Honestly,
like 250.
I'm thinking that sunset might be the next compare EOD suit or sunset. Like if sunset became purple, I think it might be better on Lennox than EOD.
Yeah, because of the HP. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's why we were saying like bring the HP down to like 250.
Give it thorns, and then the other issue with sunset has always been that you have to use a ruby to craft it. Like the leather armor is super easy to build, but there's a lot of builds that run through Pawn that are just like I could build sunset, but I need these gemstones.
I would lose a ruby. Yeah,
I need these gemstones for other things.
It's not just that though. Like you literally can build sunset as well if you go. I mean, because it forest as well. Forest, you can get hammer and gemstone too, or beach, you can get hammer and gemstone. So there's options. There's routing options.
Yeah, there were old things when other chess pieces weren't as good. Where like when you ran like Shuriken Hedgen, right? You start like factory, you'd hit cemetery at some point, which had your chess piece, and then when you got to pawn, you had sunset armor because it just gave so much HP. But now because the Cabana's in the game, because the argument used to be over sunset or commander's armor, but now that Cabana exists, a lot of people go commanders because of the upgrade.
Yeah.
Even if you don't get it, it's just worth it. All right, sheet metal armor. Jess, you build this, right? This is the blue thing before EOD or no?
Sheet metal armor.
Oh wait, no, this is pre-Crusaders.
No.
Sorry, yeah,
that's
Crusaders.
Pre-Crusaders. No, that's pre-Crusaders. That's before that's the iron ore and
plus
the
fabric armor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is 8 defense. Has a lower move speed penalty. All right, I don't think this changes anything because anyone who builds this for Crusaders is right next door to Chapel. So I don't think this changes a lot.
It literally doesn't change anything. I guess if you're grading, if you
get griefed while you're trying to craft it. I guess.
If you're on poverty, or you're getting griefed.
All right, EOD suit losing 15 HP and losing less.
They keep touching EOD suit.
This is just too good. The cooldown reduction with HP and like Natter is just too good. Too many stats.
It's hurting EOD suit. Just tone it down more. Just more and more and more.
Even after this, it's still the best chess piece in the game.
Yeah. That's why so many people build it.
Alright, Cardinal Robes, this is the blue chess piece that gives flat amp. They're nerfing the regen on it. So we've nerfed the regen on this, we've nerfed it on like the two-handed sword. Moving on. Actually, wait, real quick, what are your guys' thoughts on Cardinal Robes? It's basically just the flat amp. And like a little bit of HP.
I've seen some Yuki build it, and I've seen some Evas build it. I work with it too much, so I'm like, eh.
But that's the one that builds into the Holy Priest robes?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't build into Holy Priest.
Yeah, this was a finished component.
That is a finish. That's like basically like sunset armor.
Yeah, it's another blue. It's the only other blue chest piece. I guess technically there's like the covert armor, but yeah.
I don't think I remember this chest. I think it's like CDR, right?
No, it's just flat amp and HP and regen. That's all.
Yeah, I've seen Yuki's build it.
I will say, I don't know how I haven't seen it. Maybe it's too hard to build. I haven't seen the Force Core version of this. I know this doesn't upgrade with Force Core, but you mean
Holy Orders?
It's like Deacon's Robe plus Force Core.
Yeah, that's Deacon's
I haven't seen that in game yet. Like as good as it looks.
I built it like once or twice. I built it once or twice, but I've never used it myself. I always gave it to someone else. It's basically 450 max HP. Crit damage reduction 8%, and then extra skill damage 16%. flat 60.
Yeah, like that chest piece seems so good. I just haven't seen anyone with it.
I feel like it would be
Makes
good
me
on
sad.
Lennox, but there's so many other items that you could build with a Force Core and a Tree of Life and a Meteorite.
Alright, we have new arm piece items. So this is the blue. Honestly, I'm going to skip to the purple because that's all that really matters. This does use a new component to build. It's called barbed wire. We'll get to it in a second. So minus build path, let's just look at the stats on this because I feel like just because you look at the build path on this, you don't know what items it synergizes with, right? So let's just look at the stats and then we'll talk about it. So this is a new purple arm piece that gives 25 attack power and 10% CDR. I will say immediately, the only thing that this competes with is Sheath of Shah Jahan. So you're competing with attack power and HP versus attack power and CDR. That's my opinion on it.
I don't really build Sheath of Shah Jahan, or I built Sheath of Shah Jahan on Adriana a lot. Looking at this would not be bad on an Adriana piece, to be honest.
Yeah, this screams Adriana to me.
Yeah, it does scream Adriana. Because blueprints, you can build blueprints. Actually, if you know, because she has that zone that she can go through from factory, chapel, towards beach, right? With what is it? Incendiary. And you could literally grab all those pieces. You get paper from chapel, grab pen from uptown, and I don't know where barbed wires are going to be, so we're gonna have to see how that works out.
So, on my Sylvia route currently, I have Sheath of Shah Jahan as one, but I would probably replace Sheath for this too on one of my Sylvia routes.
Yeah, like I said, we have to see what the routing looks like, but just looking at the stats, what are your, because even casters, because there's no, unlike League, there's no ability power versus attack power differences in this, like it's just attack power in this game. So even on spellcasters, I would, depending, it all comes down to routing. I would probably take this over Tendalo Span for the attack power.
Yep.
Because this buffs your spells, and like it makes your auto attacks more relevant. So one of the things that is like not super noticeable is because Adriana builds so much attack power, despite her like looking like a spellcaster, her auto attacks hurt. So I'd rather have a spellcaster that my spells hurt and my auto attacks hurt, kind of thing.
Do we think Chiara could use this?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like, oh, you know what this would be good on too, actually? Pistol Aya, fucking Magnum Boa Aya.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, it comes down to routing, but like, yeah, like back on Kiara, like her thing with cooldown, it means her ult's up more, it means her shield comes back up more, which effectively gives her more HP. Her chain is up more, which means she can run away a little bit easier or catch people easier. And then, you know, it's just, Kiara uses abilities more than a lot of characters than you would think. That's why Mistleton's one of her best items, because it comes with 15% CDR. Because it lets her spam her abilities so much. And even if you get the ult reset, having extra cooldown reduction could make the difference between it being on a 30-second cooldown to being like a 20 or 25-second cooldown. So yeah, like Kiara normally builds Sheath.
Squad leader armband is just the green from Smart Band, right?
Yeah, so this is it's his bandage plus needle. That's what squad leader armband is. And then Creed of the Night leading some region. Yeah, this is just a nerf to region builds. I will say though, like for region builds, I think the other arm piece is better.
Well, Creed of Night, I see a lot of Kathy build Creed of Night, so I'll have this like, it's not terrible, but that's not a huge change to her.
Yeah, so, and then Tachyons, again, this is arguably one of the best boots in the game, just losing some move speed. It's hard to not like cooldown reduction on any character.
Uh-huh.
Red Shoes needs a buff because I feel like no one wants to build this with VF Blood Sample, despite the fact they made it easier to build, because Red Shoes only requires slippers and sheet metal. It used to require slipper, sheet metal, and broken glass. So, buff to Red Shoes, some move speed, and some lifesteal. Masks, so this is the green feather plus hairband, gives less move speed. Vigilante.
I used to just have that, remember, as Adriana?
Yeah. And then Vigilante, this is the anti-skill damage headpiece, just gives less mana regen. New accessory. So this is the accessory that builds into the new dagger. The only other people that would use this is people who used Flower of Fate as their accessory and like never upgraded it besides Fourscore. Like now you have a feather option because it gives the same stats as Flower of Fate plus 0 point whatever, like a little bit of move speed. Like this isn't, if you didn't build Flower of Fate as an accessory, you're not building this. Don't think.
Fiora.
Yeah, don't think this changes your build path because it gives move speed now. If you didn't use these 2 stats before, you're not using it again.
No. Here's the play. You build 2 Flower of Fates. You use 1 to build this. Later on, you get rid of this, and you just build the 4-score Flower of Fate.
Right, and the reason you build the 4-score version of it is because it gives attack power. It's like 15 or 20 attack power with these stats as well. So yeah, like this is kind of a bait if people like. I know no one listens to this practically, but yeah, like if anyone thinks that this is like, oh my god, like this new accessory is insane, it's literally a Flower of Fate plus a small amount of move speed. But yeah, so fan. This is the nail plus fan. This is the green part. It gives 6 skill damage instead of 9. White crane fan. Wait, gilded. Wait. Oh no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Fan is the white fan. Guild is the green. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nail and fan.
So they're just buffing or nerfing the components, but looks like white crane is the same because it's not touched.
You're gonna like the next one, Brian.
Grimoire. Okay, I'm fine with this. So the hex does more damage. Considering the accessory gives 0 stats, I think this is actually fine.
Did they do it because they also buffed the Death Runes? Did they buff Death Runes Primordial Hex numbers?
Yeah. So hexes don't stack as well. So if you get hit by 1 hex, you can't be hexed by something else.
Right.
But yeah, I think this is totally fine because Grimoire actually doesn't give any stats. Fun fact, Grimoire builds out of Flower of Fate. The more you know. Builds out of Flower of Fate, and it doesn't give any stats when you finish the item, besides the passive. Veritas Lux, again, another regen nerf. This is actually a core accessory on regen builds. So nerfing regen, but buffing the skill amp on it, so making it more of a combat item.
Yeah, this hurts Acne Aya and Acne Isol, doesn't it?
I generally see quivers or music box on those characters. Technically, yeah, this does more damage than quiver, but yeah, generally routing wise, they generally go quiver because it's a pain to go to temple. I will say this is probably a buff to Teen Spirit Heart. So Teen Spirit's the attack range guitar, and they start temple, so they build Versus Lux. Because I mean, like, it's not a buff to Heart because like it's skill amp and you're going an Enad build. It just makes your Q do a little bit more damage, so it's a buff, but like quotations. It's not.
Nerf.
Jolly Roger. This is the. I'm just gonna call it. I'm gonna call it the Yuki accessory.
That's Haru's favorite accessory. Haru built that on Jackie too. It's Jolly Roger. He just likes being fast.
Yeah, so it gives more attack power now, from 12 to 16. Kundala. This is the accessory that gives you Lichbane proc. They're buffing the proc damage on it. So it's going from 250% of your skill, 200 to 250%, and then 150 to 200% skill. So it makes the Lichbane procs more potent. This is unironically an Emma buff, because I think Emma is one of the best characters that can use Kundala. I know Linux is really good with it too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So these are actually just buffs to those characters, because this item is not that hard to build. Once you figure out the recipe, it's just Mithril and Meteorite. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It's Moonstone, basically a Moonstone and Meteorite. That's it. No, I'm sorry. Mithril. That's it.
Yeah. And then, alright, get your F's out in chat. Are you ready for it?
Easter eggs, no!
Easter egg no longer buildable. All curry items are no longer buildable. Whiskey bourbon. So I'll go over the recipe. So Easter egg is chocolate and egg. All curries have been removed.
Bourbons?
Chocolate and whiskey, which was generally like an up.
Rozzy. Yeah, that's a Rozzy freaking thing, dude. Oh my god, I'm sad.
Potato bread, which was potato plus milk, no longer usable.
Potato bread.
Lemon custard. This one I'm not 100% on. It's ice and lemon, right? Was lemon custard?
It's ice and lemon. Mm-hmm.
Whiskey bourbon was like my my secret weapon, dude, in early fights. So I was just like, nope, whiskey bourbon on Rozzy. Like Zone 2. That's all.
Sad.
I love this change, by the way. I'm fine with losing all those. Highball, which is carbonated
3
water and whiskey.
Carbonated and whiskey, yeah.
It gives 3 now instead of 2. I'm totally down for that.
Oh no, it's so sad. We're losing so much food.
Oh, here we go. Barbed wire, piano wire, and hammer.
Yep. So this is like a beach thing. Where I told you that dagger could be built Forest Beach Hotel.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can. Yeah.
I was thinking about the accessory, the armband, because I can literally just build it.
All right. Here's the biggest change to the patch. The unspoken change. Factory no longer has bandages. Alley now has bandages.
That
Oof.
This changes a lot.
So much. Oh no. You know, like, okay, so Lennox normally starts in factory now.
Yeah.
We're no longer starting in factory now.
7 ramens in factory. They removed the ramens from alley.
Yeah, that's the second biggest
Oh
change.
my
That's the second
God,
biggest
dude.
change. You can't build a garlic ramen in the
Garlic
factory
ramen,
anymore.
good
Or
The
sorry,
only thing
alley. Yeah.
The only thing I'm thinking about is like, what? Regen, please, no. Regen, they gutted Regen. Regen's gone.
Yeah.
It's dead.
Bury it, bury it.
It's dead.
Yeah, this unironically, I feel like changes more about the patch than like anything we've seen so far.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Food is like one of the most important aspects of this game.
Yeah, it hurts. Dude, potato bread. Potato bread. Don't build that.
You know, I'm actually super fine.
Yeah.
Do you want to know why I'm fine with factory losing bandage? Because dock and hospital, which are on each sides of it, also have bandages.
Also, yeah, I
And
get
the
that.
only other place to find it was school.
Well, I mean, they don't spread out items typically like very well. Like, think about it. With like carbonated water, they're all found in the same area. The batteries all found like nearby each other. Besides, the
Avenue,
the
yeah.
black sheep, avenue.
But yeah, this is everyone's gonna have to look at their builds now after this. My gut reaction, without overthinking it, is this makes EOD routes from archery into alley possible. I could be wrong, because if you skip school, you generally can't build EOD on that side of the map. But having bandages in alley, again, I'd have to look at it. But I think this makes new EOD routes.
Doesn't school already have bandages?
They do, yeah. But if you don't need anything else from school, like if you're like, here's my gut reaction: is I don't know what Hejin is missing for her normal 4 route build. If she skips Cabana, what she needs for EOD, I think it's just scrap metal.
Well, what sucks the most is that you have bandages already in school, and you're putting bandages in alley. You're literally kind of limiting it to kind of that area on the left side.
Also, I don't know what this changes for Statue of Sotera. Like,
I guess just scrap metal and branches for EOD, by the way.
yeah, and then Windbreaker too. But yeah, well,
Yeah. Oh yeah, Runbreaker. Yeah.
This makes me real sad.
yeah, this is the bandage change is one of the biggest. The bandage and the food changes are probably the biggest changes you'll see consistently across the patch because it affects multiple characters, kind of thing. All right, I love this change. I've gone over some of these numbers. So Nadine Bow does 2% more damage in duos. Crossbow does less damage. Crossbow Nadine has been super popular, so
Yeah, and I've noticed that too in squads especially.
yeah, they buffed it by 1% in duo, but they nerfed it by 3% in squad. Rio, her bow in squads has been gone down by 3%. Understandable, considering she is the only. Is there another hyper carry in the game besides Rio? Like Nadine used to be it, but like her stat counts got nerfed.
Would you count like AR, Aya?
Yeah, I guess yeah. No, I would count
Would
them.
you count Heart then? I guess, right?
I would say I think so. Yeah, I would say all the Enad carries. So Heart, Aya, and Isol are technically hyper carries, but they're just not very good right now. But yeah, I would classify them as hyper carries.
Right, I would agree with that.
I guess I would technically classify Nadine as a hyper carry too. I just don't think any of them touch Rio.
I think technically Bernice should be, but he's just super strong early mid. His late game's not as strong as Rio's at all.
Alright, Magnus losing some damage in duo and squad. Jukai losing some damage in squad and then taking more damage in squad. I don't know why he took reduced damage in squad, but put the shit at 100%.
Yeah.
Dagger is also the same as closer to 100% damage taken. Shoichi, let's go! I didn't even see this the first time I went through it. It's doing 2% more damage in squad. Let's go! I'm excited. Sacella's Shuriken. So Sacella's back up to taking full damage in squad. I don't know why she also took reduced damage. What is it with like the best characters in the game? Why were they not taking full damage? Whatever. And then Jake, I'll let you cover this one as our resident Sylvia player.
Woot woot.
Woot woot.
Everybody put your hands in the air. We're getting 5% extra damage dealt in duos, and we're also getting 4% extra damage in squads. We're up to 92 and 90%, which honestly I'm pretty sure is the highest I've ever seen it.
Yeah, ever.
And it's gone up before in previous patches, and it's gone. And when I first started, it was continuously going down, down, down. At one point in the darkest days, I'm pretty sure it was at 82% in squads.
Yeah. So I think this change could have been made as soon as they changed doubles marksman.
Yeah.
Alright, Adriana nerf in duos.
Please stop touching Adriana.
Adriana nerf in
Please.
squad. Alright, Adriana might be the lowest squad's damage dealer in the game now. She's dropped below 80%. We've done it. We've seen it happen now.
Literally, she does no damage. Does absolutely no damage.
She can engage from a mile away. She could disengage.
Leave her alone.
She has so much utility.
Leave her alone.
So yeah, speaking of Aya that you mentioned, looks like Aya's damage is up in squads and duos by 3% on both, and it looks like it's actually the same for ISIL. Oh wait, I didn't know this. Wait, so even if you build the same damage on ISIL and Aya actually does more damage. It's just ISIL brings the root and the camouflage. Okay, that's cool. I didn't know that. Alex does 2% more damage in both duos and squads. William...
See, that new Tonfa is looking kind of thick for Alex, I'm just saying. We might be seeing some Tonfa out.
So, William Nurse, I will say, I feel like when I see players who play William, they actually do pretty good damage, so... Considering none of us play William, I'm not even heartbroken to see this. Considering none of us play William. But I will say, this probably didn't need to happen. Like, honestly. Do you guys think William needed a duo and squad damage nerf?
No, not really, but I mean, hey. It is what it is. Well, I think because also, like, in solos, especially, like, I feel like, in duos and squads, I feel like he would perform better. Like, this is my head. Like, in my head, duos and squads, he would perform better. Because he doesn't have the, what is the word? Movement?
Frontline? Oh.
He doesn't have the movement. He doesn't have, like, the escape, right? He can't rat away. Like, so in a squad format, he actually works really well. So I can see why they are nerfing his damage in duos and squads, because he does work really well in a team format.
Alright, and then Ava's losing 2% damage in duo squad. Axe Jackie losing...
Christian's happy about the William change, by the way.
Oh, probably.
Just want to throw that one out there.
Yeah. Duos and squads, Jackie's doing 2% less damage with her axe. Rapier Fiora is doing 1% more damage in squad and 1% less damage in duo. Woo woo. Game changer.
Gang gang.
Alright, and then Kiara's rapier damage in squads is down 3%. Which, considering they put 3 extra damage on Voltacleto, this is probably still a net nerf on Kiara in squads.
I think honestly, it's a net neutral. You got 3%. You got 3 attack power, minus 3% on Kiara. It's a no-brainer. I know the math doesn't work that way, but it's hilarious.
Alright, and then let's see. Apparently knockback skills are putting people through walls. I didn't even notice. Wickeline can no longer talk while dead. Replay system improvements.
Are you saying better content? Let's go. I'm all for it. Let's read. Can we read the Razi ones? I can't read them. They're too small for me.
Yeah, sorry. Using last word or double tap with dual wield passive now correctly applies stack when hitting enemy attached.
I was noticing that, dude. I was noticing that. Cause like I was like, dude, why are my bombs not exploding? They're just sitting on them, and I'm like, actually hitting them with so many abilities, and auto attacks.
Oh, I never noticed. Okay, well, I guess that's a sick change. This also means I believe the grenade is going to do more damage, because if you're stacking it up, right?
Yeah.
A rare issue where coup de grace's second hit would not proc after being hit by the first is now fixed. Okay. So apparently,
not sure. I've never
the true
seen
damage. Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't see it happen, but apparently, I guess the true damage wouldn't go off sometimes for the part 2.
Imagine playing Yuki, coup de grace. You stand there, you take a bunch of damage to the face because you're Yuki and coup de grace, and then your true damage doesn't go off. You're just left there crying. I would be so angry.
All right.
Would you be sad?
That is the patch. I would say this is actually pretty much maybe not a small patch, but I would say this is a not nothing really changed in this patch that was super important. We had, I guess I'll go to the quick view. I know we had, the first thing that comes to mind is Devil's Marksman and a bandage change. So Devil's Marksman changed, huge. I guess we got 2 new items. This is one of those things where you have to see how it is in the game. And yeah, then the bandage changed, and then other than that, I don't think anything really game changing happened actually. Nothing is like, oh my god, I want to play this character now. I guess Dylan. What do you guys think about the patch? What is like the standouts?
New character for sure. I think Jenny's
New
big
routes.
standout, obviously.
The bandages. No one said anything about bandages. Hello?
He just said that.
No, I know he did, but I'm just saying that Nimble Neuron didn't say anything about bandages. I feel like that was super important.
Okay, well.
You're talking. I think you should talk about like in the quick look. This new.
I see.
It should be like adjusted. It should just be a giant picture of a bandage over here.
Yeah, just a giant bandage. Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't.
A giant bandage, and then next to it, an Adriana with like an ouchie face.
And it should be like a piece of curry with like a red X through it.
Yeah.
They literally ripped the band-aid from us before we were ready. That's what happened.
They just ripped the band-aid off.
Yeah.
They ripped the bandage off before you were ready.
Yeah. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for this. They just did this to us.
Alright, standout things that I'm excited for, that I'm personally ready to try out. Jenny for sure. We got Sylvia buffs in squads and duos, and also new, Devil's Marksman pistol. And then the third thing I'm excited to try out would be Bernice's new weapon, the Blackfire Cannon. Now that it has like a ridiculous amount of damage. Those are the let's see. Oh, and dual sword skill. Dual sword skill looks interesting once you get level 2 weapon skill.
All right, so that'll do it for the patch here. I do kind of want to touch on the roadmap, not spend a lot of time here though. Let me refresh the page in case they updated anything, but I doubt it. All right, so we got Camilla coming out in 2 weeks. Looks like he'll be a dual sword character, but again, that's not confirmed. New Dylan skin, Cecile skin. I'm surprised Cecile's getting a second skin already, as well as Dylan, because they both have skins. I'm actually not a fan of them both getting like another skin already. But then I think the main thing from next patch is the resurrection change for duos and squads. Your teammates, when you respawn them now, will have their full items, which I'm not gonna lie, probably only 20% of the time when I down someone and don't kill their teammate do I grief their items. I generally don't grief items, but every time I feel like I get downed, my items get griefed. So this affects me when I get res, but it makes it to where my normal playstyle doesn't change actually a whole lot, because I don't usually spend the effort to take someone's items away from their body. And then, I mean, I'm excited for the talent system at the end of October. That'll be super cool. I think the talent system is the thing I'm most excited for. And then Chloe looks super cool as well.
You know, I get why they're coming out with the Cella skin though, by the way. It's like Halloween time.
Was it a Halloween skin? I don't remember. I don't think they have the concept art here.
I placed the concept art into general chat for you.
Pull it up.
I mean, it doesn't look like Halloween to me. It looks just like a skin. It looks pretty.
It does look like Halloween to me. Like
does it?
With the lamppost.
Like the thing should be a pumpkin. The lamppost should be a pumpkin.
I think purple fits her better than orange.
Wilson should be a pumpkin, right? Huh?
True.
I think it would too, but it's not a true Halloween skin. Come on.
Wait a minute, guys. We don't see Wilson in this picture. There's still a chance.
That he's a pumpkin? I want a pumpkin in this skin.
Pumpkin Wilson.
That'd be great, dude.
Other than that though, I'm excited for these changes and a little disappointed about the bandage being ripped off. I think we'll have to see how this all goes. It's gonna hurt a little.
All right, well, that's gonna conclude. Oh God, what episode was this? This is 5. It's 5.
Episode 5.
If I sound confident, it's true. This concludes episode 5 of the PTA podcast. I've been one of your hosts, Brian, aka Kiss My Waifu in VR. You can catch more of me at my Twitch stream, which unfortunately I haven't streamed for the last 2 months, but I'll try and get back on it. It's TTV, Kiss My Waifu in VR, spelled without an E. There's no E between the S and the E. Jess, you go ahead and go first. Where can they catch more of you?
Oh yes, you guys can catch me on my Twitter, Iva Senpai, or you can catch me on Twitch. I stream like maybe once or twice a week depending on schedule, so go ahead and feel free to catch me there. Haru?
Yeah,
I'm Haruichi, and you've seen me on the past PTA podcast, and I'll be appearing on the future PTA podcast. You can also subscribe to me and check me out on YouTube. My YouTube channel is just Haruichi. And you can catch me on Eternal Return here and there. If I see you there, be sure to say hi.
Sure to thumbs up emote.
Yeah, thumbs up emote me.
Alright, and thank you for everyone for watching, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks.